Chapter 88. The Iron Bone's motto was to be an unyielding person and do unyielding things. Then it was to be indifferent to life and death. Now there was one more. If someone offends me, I will offend that person. Although the motto changed frequently, the real emphasis was don't provoke me. The Spirit Spring sect was provoked, so it was destroyed. Humph. The Long Blade Sect's patriarch coldly said. Regardless of whether the Spirit Spring sect offended you or not, you can't just destroy their sect. Jun Changshao glanced at him and said indifferently, if your sect offends the Iron Bone, you will end up like the Spirit Spring sect. Very arrogant, very arrogant. The Long Blade Sect's patriarch was furious. The Tiger's Howl Sect's patriarch coldly said, Sect Master Jun, don't go too far. Don't tell me you don't understand this kind of Jiang who rule? Jun Changshao leaned back in his chair and crossed his legs, saying indifferently, those who provoke me will be directly destroyed. There will be no need to see them again. This guy. The other sect's patriarchs were furious. During the 100 Sect Alliances conference, Sect Master Wang kept a low profile and didn't say anything. Yet this second-generation sect master was so arrogant and despotic. Another sect master righteously said, ignoring the Alliance's rules and destroying members of the Alliance is an unforgivable crime. Alliance Master Qin, please punish them severely as a warning to others. Each sect's patriarchs took turns to speak. They clearly wanted to use their strongest spit to drown the most arrogant sect master Jun. Unforgivable crime? Jun Changshao indifferently said, Sect Master Toad, I want to ask you, a sect that first communicated with bandits, then hired assassins and played dirty tricks. What kind of crime is this in the Alliance? That sect master was speechless. Another sect master took over and said, Sect Master Jun, if this is true, then show us the evidence. The Alliance headquarters will uphold justice for you. If there is no evidence, then you are going against the heavens and betraying the Alliance. Uphold justice? Jun Changshao indifferently said. Forgive me for speaking bluntly, but you don't have justice in your hearts. You are just pretending. You. The sect leader was furious. Jun Changshao said indifferently, the Spirit Spring sect colluded with the bandits and hired assassins. I had a good reason to destroy them. What crime was that? On the other hand, you ignorant men who fear the Sacred Spring sect. You talk about Jianghu's morality all day long, yet you don't send a punitive force to punish the thief. You only care about your food and clothing. What face do you have to banter with me here? You. The sect leader's voice trembled. Jun Changshao loudly rebuked. You, as the leader of a sect, have never done anything for the people. You only know how to wag your tongue. Now that I have annihilated the Spirit Spring sect that colluded with the bandits, you are quibbling for it. You are like a dog with a broken spine, barking madly here. I have never seen such a shameless person. Pooh! Hearing this, the sect leader was so angry that he vomited blood on the spot. Taking a puff of his cigarette, Jun Changshao inwardly commented, Zhuge Kongming's words are truly valiant. A war of words. Come on, let's hurt each other. If I don't beat you to a pulp, I'll write the word internet troll backwards. Cold sweat dripped down the foreheads of the various sect leaders. Luckily, the one he insulted was Situ Wang. If it was him, he would probably vomit 3 liters of blood in anger. Alliance Master Qin's face darkened. He obviously did not expect that a guy who was not even 20 years old would have such a high skill in insulting others. What should he do next? Jun Changshao said. Everyone speak freely. The corners of the sect leaders' mouths twitched. They wanted to speak freely. They wanted to say the lines that they had thought of before. But compared to Jun Changshao's insulting words just now, they suddenly felt weak. Second senior brother. Su Xiaoma stood at the back whispering, Sect leader made that old man vomit blood. This is simply too terrifying. Li Qingyang and Xiao Ziji expressed their agreement, and their admiration for the sect leader went up another level. Yi Xingchen, on the other hand, thought disdainfully, in this world, only the weak will use their mouths to retort. The truly strong can only use their fists to settle everything. Ding! Congratulations, host, for completing the hidden mission War of Words. You have received 50 contribution points. Ding! Contribution points. 127500. As expected, hidden missions were mostly related to the four-word idiom. The Star Moon Pavilion was silent, and all the sect leaders were silent. At the start, they had prepared many lines to criticize Jun Changshao. But when they saw how ruthless he was, they did not dare to say anything. No one wants to speak. Jun Changshao stood up, walked to the big round table, and placed a piece of paper on the table saying, "Then let me say it. From today onwards, Ironbone clan will leave the 100 Sect Alliance." On the paper, it was written that Ironbone clan would leave the 100 Sect Alliance, and it was even stamped with the sect leader's seal. Alliance leader Qin said angrily, "Jun Changshao, the alliance is not an inn. You can't stay and leave as you wish." Jun Changshao shrugged, saying, "Ironbone does not want to be associated with an organization that is afraid of offending the Sacred Spring sect and colluding with other sects to target their own members." Pa! Alliance leader Qin slammed the table and stood up. Clang! Clang! Li Qingyang, Su Xiaoma, and Xiao Ziji drew their swords and walked in front of the sect leader, forming a defensive stance. "What's wrong?" Jun Changshao grinned. "Does Alliance leader Qin want to make a move?" Qin Haoran naturally did not dare to make a move. After all, this was Green Sun City, Xie Guangquan's territory. He suppressed his anger and announced, "From today onwards, Ironbone will be removed from the 100 Sect Alliance. If a member were to leave, it would be embarrassing." Thus, he took the initiative to remove his name from the alliance. At least he could save some face. Jun Changshao did not mind, saying indifferently, "As long as I have nothing to do with you bunch of idiots, it's up to Alliance leader Qin to decide whether to leave or be removed from the alliance." With that he turned and left. Ironbone disciples sheathed their swords and followed the sect leader. Alliance leader Qin and the 30 over sect elders could only watch as that guy walked down the stairs. Pa! The sound system turned on, and he sang, "Don't look at me as a sheep. The green grass has become more fragrant because of me. The sky has become more blue because of me." After Jun Changshao left, the Long Blade clan leader slammed the table and said angrily, "This guy is too arrogant. Ironbone is the first sect that dares to leave the alliance since its establishment. It's good for them to leave. If the Sacred Spring sect comes to question us, they won't implicate us." Makes sense, makes sense. The sect leaders who were originally angry were calmed down by the sect leader's words. The Long Blade clan leader said, "Alliance leader Qin, since Ironbone is not a member of the alliance, does that mean they won't have any privileges in the future?" Alliance leader Qin stood up and walked down the stairs, saying, "Those who are not members of the alliance have no privileges." The Long Blade Gate's patriarch understood. He quickly got up and walked towards the broken window, shouting at Jun Changshao, "Patriarch Jun, please wait." "What's the matter?" Jun Changshao stopped and asked. The Long Blade clan leader sneered, cupping his fists and said, "Your sect's disciples have taken the top 4 spots in the martial arts competition, which means sect leader Jun is extraordinary. Today, I would like to learn from you. Do you have time? You can't out-talk me, so you want to fight me?" Jun Changshao turned around and took a puff of his cigar. He smiled and said, "I'm free." Chapter 89. In front of the grievance stage, Jun Changshao and the sect leader of the Long Blade faction walked over. For a moment, the martial artists in Qingyang City poured in from the streets and whispered to each other. Sect leader Shun is a 9th grade martial disciple. Can sect leader Jun beat him? When the 100 sects recruited disciples, sect leader Jun was only at the 4th or 5th stage of the Meridian opening realm. Didn't he defeat Elder Wei, who was at the 12th stage? A 9th grade martial disciple's strength is more than 10,000 pounds. A 12th stage Meridian opening realm martial artist is no match for him. That makes sense. After a round of discussion, many martial artists were optimistic about the sect leader of the Long Blade faction. The leaders of the various sects also came to watch the battle. They supported sect leader Shun without hesitation, and even hoped to beat the arrogant Jun Changshao on the grievance stage. Alliance leader Qin didn't leave. He stood far away from the grievance stage and watched. On the 4th floor, Xie Guangquan stood with his hands behind his back and said in confusion, That guy is not stupid. Why did he accept Shen Tong's challenge? From his tone and eyes, it was obvious that he didn't think Jun Changxiao would win. It was normal. The Long Blade faction was an 8th grade faction, and its sect leader was a 9-star martial disciple. He was considered a good master in Qingyang County. What about Jun Changxiao? Many people thought that even if he could kill Wei Yishi, he was only a 3rd grade martial disciple. Sect leader. Li Qingyang whispered, "It's a bit tricky." Jun Changxiao put away the electronic cigar and said indifferently, "Remember, Qingyang. In my eyes, there are no tricky opponents, only weak ones." With that, he stepped onto the grievance stage. Ding! Side quest triggered. Jun Changxiao steadied himself and opened the system data panel. The side quest was defeat the sect leader of the Long Blade faction. Shen Tong 01, Elite Mission. Shen Tong. Why wasn't he called Yuan Tong? Jun Changxiao's eyes lit up with excitement when he saw that he had triggered a side quest, and an elite one at that. What did he lack the most? Contribution points. Sect leader Shen jumped onto the grievance stage and said indifferently, "Sect leader Jun, shall we compete with fists or weapons?" "Whatever," Jun Changxiao said. Clan Master Shen said, "The Long Saber clan is famous for our sabers, but I won't take advantage of Clan Master Jun. Let's settle this with our fists." Sure. Jun Changxiao had no objections. He thought to himself, every time a martial disciple increases by 1 rank, the increase in strength is around 1,000-2,000 jin. Taking into account that he increases by 1,500 jin per rank, plus his meridian opening and 9th rank martial disciple cultivation, his strength should not exceed 15,000. The system replied, "This person's strength is around 14,000. Jun Changxiao was stunned. "You can tell?" "Yes. Why didn't you say so earlier? You made me wait here. You didn't ask." Jun Changxiao was speechless for a while, but he also thought to himself, a rank 9 martial disciple only has this much strength. Taking him down won't be difficult at all. Thinking of this, he said indifferently, "You may begin." Shen Tong. Jun Changxiao. After exchanging names, Shen Tong clenched his right hand and strode forward like a meteor. Immediately, visible energy ripples spread out under his feet. As expected of a rank 9 martial disciple, the spiritual energy he released alone could completely crush the participants of the sect competition. Li Qingyang's expression became serious. With the strength of the Long Saber clan's clan master, if it were him, he would definitely not be able to win. Su Xiaoma and Xiao Ziji also thought so. With their strength, they could be a rank 1 or rank 2 martial disciple, and they could also bully the clan masters of rank 9 sects. But against a martial disciple like Shen Tong, they could only be abused. Trash. Yi Xingchen said disdainfully. As a former peak martial emperor, he didn't put a rank 9 martial disciple in his eyes. If he still had his cultivation, he could kill him with a finger. Brother, haven't you seen the reality? You are no longer a martial emperor who can summon wind and rain. You are just a little newbie now. Even if you have extraordinary experience, if your strength and body can't be improved, you will still be beaten black and blue. Bang! Suddenly, a loud explosion came from the grievance ring. Jun Changxiao crossed his arms and blocked Shen Tong's heavy punch. His body was pushed back and barely stopped at the edge. He was 1 step away from leaving the ring. "It hurts." He waved his arms and his face was slightly ferocious. Clan Master Shen didn't even use his full strength, and he couldn't hold it. He is really weak. A clan master said disdainfully, but he didn't know that he was only a rank 2 martial disciple. If he went up to fight with Shen Tong, he would be even weaker than Jun Changxiao. He would be beaten down with 1 punch. Some people were like this. They never considered their own weakness, and would always laugh at others as bystanders, to increase their ridiculous sense of superiority. This guy is too weak. I have to suppress my cultivation. If he is beaten down, how can I abuse him? Shen Tong rushed over and poured spiritual energy into his fist, but only used half of his strength. His goal was not to win, but to beat Jun Changxiao, and make him pay for his arrogance in the Star Moon Pavilion. Whoosh! The fist was swung, and the wind from the fist whistled. Jun Changxiao's slightly ugly face suddenly showed an evil smile. Tong became vigilant. Shua. At this moment Jun Changshao strode over. His right palm hit Tong's fist and pressed his arm down. Then he poured spiritual energy into his left fist and punched. One rush, one push, one attack. It was extremely fast. Even though Tong realized that something was wrong, he could no longer avoid it, and could not mobilize more spiritual energy. Boom! The fist, which carried the force of 10,000 kilograms, landed heavily on Tong's abdomen. The strong impact disturbed Tong's muscles and meridians, causing him to bend down and open his mouth. His eyes were wide open. It hurts. Shua. Jun Changshao raised his other hand and hit Tong's back with his elbow. Tong's eyeballs bulged again, and he fell to the ground with a loud bang. Hiss! The spectating martial artists gasped. Sect leader Jun's two attacks had spiritual energy fluctuations. At first glance, it was obvious that they were powerful. If they were hit, their meridians and internal organs would definitely be shattered. The various sect leaders, who thought that sect leader Tong was going to win, were all dumbstruck. Suddenly, they understood that Tong's punch that almost knocked him off the stage was an act. He was deliberately showing weakness. Xie Guangquan frowned. The two attacks just now were about 15,000 kilograms of strength. Could it be that he has entered the 9th grade martial disciple? Jun Changshao was only a 6th grade martial disciple. His explosive strength was so high because every grade increased by 2,000 kilograms. To be exact, every grade increased according to the upper limit. The reason why he was so strong was because of Yi Jinjing and the muscle building room. Yi Xingchen also noticed it. With a serious expression he said, "I didn't expect this guy to be so strong. I'm afraid it will take me some time to catch up." Wah! Tong, who was lying on the ground, spat out a mouthful of blood. His face instantly turned pale. When he was attacked, he only used 50% of his spiritual energy. After taking two violent blows from Jun Changshao, his meridians and internal organs must have been severely damaged. Jun Changshao squatted down and said apologetically, "Sect leader Shen, I'm sorry. I was a little too harsh." "You, Shua." As soon as he opened his mouth to speak, Jun Changshao grabbed him by the leg and dragged him to the edge of the stage. Then with a whoosh he was thrown out. Plop! Tong fell to the ground with his limbs on the ground. He could not support himself and fainted on the spot. Ding! Defeat the sect leader of Longblade Sect 11, Elite Mission. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the side mission. You have received 50 sect contribution points. Ding! Sect contribution points. 177500. After completing a hidden mission and an elite mission, he easily earned 100 contribution points. Jun Changshao looked at the various sect leaders in a good mood, and said in a provocative tone, "Who else wants to come up and spar?" P.S. The strongest sect system has been updated. It is no longer separated to make it easier for readers to read. Chapter 90. Is there anyone else who wants to spar? When Jun Changshao said this, his eyes were filled with disdain and provocation. The various sect leaders below the stage were instantly enraged. They were all experienced sect leaders, who would be able to take it. But they had to remain calm and restrain themselves. Even the 9th grade martial disciple Tong was beaten unconscious by him. If they went up, wouldn't they be looking for trouble? The various sect leaders looked at each other angrily, but no one dared to go up. Looking at the group of sect leaders who were furious yet helpless, Jun Changshao shrugged and said, "So this is the 100 Sect Alliance? It's only SOSO." From afar, Alliance leader Qin's eyes were cold as he walked over. He had the urge to spar with Suemo, sect leader Jun. Suddenly, Xie Guangquan's voice came from behind. He walked over and smiled. "You defeated sect leader Shen in 2 moves. Your strength is extraordinary. You have opened my eyes." Jun Changshao cupped his hands and said, "Thank you, City Lord, for your praise." Xie Guangquan looked at Qin Haoran and smiled. "Alliance leader Qin, are you planning to spar with a youngster like sect leader Jun?" If sect leader Jun was the only one who was fine, why did he have to add a youngster? This made Alliance leader Qin understand that Xie Guangquan was telling him not to bully a junior. Xie Guangquan, you are so scheming. Alliance leader Qin said indifferently. As a martial master, I will naturally not spar with a junior. City Lord Xie is thinking too much. Martial master? Jun Changshao thought to himself. This is a little tricky. City Lord Xie smiled. Since all of you from the 100 Sect Alliance are here, the meeting must have ended. Let's go. I will be the host and treat all of you to a feast. Alliance leader Qin cupped his hands and said indifferently. I still have matters to attend to. I will take my leave first. With that, he waved his sleeves and left. From his back view, he looked normal, but he was actually holding back his anger. City Lord Xie, my sect still has matters to attend to. We will not trouble you. Goodbye, goodbye. The various sect leaders would not freeload at the city lord's mansion, so they quickly found excuses to leave. When they came, they were all arrogant, but when they left they were a little dejected. How could he not be dejected? Before the meeting started, he had wanted to drown Jun Changshao with his saliva. In the end he was rendered speechless. A sect leader vomited blood, another sect leader was seriously injured, and the alliance leader and the other sect leaders left in a huff. This alliance meeting could be described as a complete failure. Jun Changshao jumped down from the grievance stage and cupped his hands. Thank you, City Lord, for coming. Otherwise, Alliance Master Qin would have gone up the stage to spar with Jun. City Lord Xie shook his head and said, Sect Leader Jun, you shouldn't be so competitive. Otherwise, you might run into a nail one day. Jun Changshao said, Ironbone's motto is to keep a low profile. As long as others don't provoke me, I won't provoke others. Li Qingyang and the others, who had already gotten used to the changes in their mission, did not show any changes in their expressions. City Lord Xie smiled and said, This time, Alliance Master Qin left angrily. I'm afraid it will be very difficult for you, Ironbone, to survive in the Alliance. Jun Changshao said, My sect has already left the Alliance. City Lord Xie was stunned. He raised his thumb and said, Since the establishment of the 100 Sect Alliance, all the sects have been fighting to get in. Sect Leader Jun, you've taken the initiative to leave. You're very courageous. Jun Changshao said indifferently, They're just a bunch of mobs. My iron bone will only harm our sect's reputation if we join them. Hearing this, the cultivators in the distance only had one thought in their minds. Sect Leader Jun is really amazing. City Lord Xie originally wanted to invite Jun Changshao to the City Lord residence as a guest, but was rejected. He brought his disciples to the Li family, so that Li Qingyang could catch up with his father. Seeing Sect Leader Jun defeat the Long Blade Sect Leader, the Li family leader was both shocked and happy. He hurriedly prepared a banquet. After eating and drinking to his heart's content, Jun Changshao left the Li family leader alone and went to the market to look for medicinal ingredients that could be used to concoct pills. There were 4 types of medicinal ingredients in the medicine refinery pavilion. Apart from the beginner healing pill that was easy to find, the rest were relatively rare. After visiting a few shops, he only managed to gather 2 sets of beginner body shaping pill. As for the Qi gathering pill and Qi revolving pill, he didn't even have 1 set. Sigh. Jun Changshao sighed. Although the medicine refinery pavilion can concoct pills quickly, without medicinal ingredients, it's like a housewife can't cook without rice. The system said, Host, you can grow them yourself. Jun Changshao rolled his eyes and said, Let's just talk about the 100-year-old ginseng used for the Qi condensation pill. Even if I could grow it, I wouldn't be able to complete the main quest by the time it matures. The system said, There are items in the merchant shop that can speed up the growth of medicinal ingredients. It's up to host's luck to get them. Jun Changshao was speechless. Can't you be more straightforward and just show them to me? Why do you have to show them to me? The system said, The merchant shop's refresh function is to prevent host from relying too much on the system. If you want to get the items you need, you have to earn contribution points to refresh them. Jun Changshao was speechless. This is similar to a lottery. It's cheating me of my contribution points. The system said, That's why host has to earn contribution points. Because if contribution points are used up, you won't even have the right to draw a lottery. Alright. Jun Changshao didn't argue with it, and continued to search for medicinal ingredients in the medicine refinery pavilion. When he returned to the Li family, he obtained 4 sets of healing pills, 3 sets of body-shaping pills, 1 set of qi-gathering pills, and 0 qi-revolving pills. Whether or not a disciple could quickly become stronger depended on the pills of the medicine refinery pavilion. It wouldn't do if he didn't have the ingredients. Sect Master Jun, is there something on your mind? As soon as he returned to the Li family, Patriarch Li saw his gloomy face and came over to ask. Jun Changshao said, I've been researching Pill Dao recently, and am lacking some medicinal ingredients. I searched the city for half a day, but couldn't find what I need. Patriarch Li said in surprise, Sect Master Jun knows Pill Dao? Blacksmiths, alchemists, formation masters, and spirit masters of the falling star continent were the most respected. Alchemists and spirit masters were especially revered. Pills and spirit stones were of great help to one's cultivation. Many sects had alchemists and spirit masters, who were even treated as guests of honor, and enjoyed special treatment and privileges. I know a little, Jun Changshao replied. Patriarch Li's gaze became even more surprised. This Ironbone sect master was indeed not simple. His son becoming his disciple was definitely the best choice. Sect Master Jun, although Qingyang City is the capital city of Qingyang County, it's relatively weak in terms of medicinal ingredients. If you want to buy medicinal ingredients, you'll have to go to Huyang City. Huyang City? Jun Changshao thought of the AI family, and his eyes lit up. The AI family has been in the business of medicinal pills for generations. Perhaps they have the medicinal ingredients to refine their own pills. The next day, Jun Changshao bid farewell to Patriarch Li and returned to Ironbone with his 4 disciples. However, when he returned, he found a man wearing a bamboo hat and rough clothes standing in front of the red lacquered door. He held a saber and snored rhythmically. It's him again. Who? Wandering Saber Master Ma Yongning. Su Xiaoma walked over and waved his hand in front of him. Sect Master, this guy fell asleep standing up again. Jun Changshao said, Zueji, carry him outside. Don't block the door here. Yes. Xiao Ziji walked over and carried Ma Yongning. The other party seemed to be really sleepy. When he was carried away, he was still snoring. Shua. Xiao Ziji placed Ma Yongning at the entrance of the stone stairs and turned to leave. Little did he know that he had placed Ma Yongning at the bottom of the stairs, half of his feet dangling in the air. Now he was sleeping like a rock. When he woke up and stretched or yawned, he would definitely lose his center of gravity. Then P.S. Author's words can't be displayed on QQ. I won't mention the names of the readers who tipped me in the past few days. I'll thank you one by one here. Now I have 8,000 plus votes. I hope it will break 9,000 on the last day of the weekend. Ironbone Group 702705427. The shy author is waiting for you to flirt with him. Chapter 91. After returning to the Ironbone, Jun Changshao had been thinking about how to obtain a large amount of herbs to refine the 4 types of pills. Needless to say, the more the better. Even if he couldn't use them, he could sell them and make a lot of money. The body-shaping pill and the qi-gathering pill strengthened the body and increased the speed of cultivation. They were essential items for martial artists. Naturally, the more the better. The qi-revolving pill was even more amazing. With it, disciples could open 12 meridians and become a martial disciple easily. If he had all 4 types of pills and had an inexhaustible supply, he would be invincible and could quickly break through. No, Jun Changshao said. I have to find the herbs as soon as possible. Even if I can't mass-produce them, I should at least refine 100 pills each. Huyang City, I have to go. He didn't leave immediately. Instead, he opened the alchemy pavilion and refined 4 sets of healing pills, 3 sets of body-shaping pills, and 1 set of qi-gathering pills. The body-shaping pill can only be used once per person. Any more and it won't have any effect. I'll give it to Qianqian and Qingyang first. There were 100 disciples in the Ironbone. Jun Changshao couldn't take care of all of them at the moment, so he could only give it to a few disciples who had joined earlier. Sect leader, what is this? Li Qingyang asked with a puzzled expression as he held the grape-sized body-shaping pill in his hands. Jun Changshao said, "This is a body-shaping pill. After taking it, it can strengthen the meridians and body. The effect is very obvious." Li Qingyang's eyes widened. From what he knew, strengthening the body mostly depended on mental cultivation and hard work. It was hard to believe that a pill could change the body. He opened his mouth and swallowed it. The pill melted as soon as it entered his mouth. The medicinal juice merged into his body and instantly formed a special energy that filled his body. Soon Li Qingyang could clearly feel that his blood meridians and every inch of his skin were transforming. His body's strength was constantly increasing. After the transformation, he went to the training room and punched the testing machine. It showed that his strength was 3,000 jin. This was the purest physical strength without using spiritual power. The previous test showed that his strength was 2,500 jin. After taking the body-shaping pill, it directly increased by 500 jin. Unbelievable, Li Qingyang exclaimed. Su Xiaoma also came for the test after taking it. Now that he was at the 12th stage of the meridian opening realm, he was able to punch out 2,000 kilograms without using any spirit energy, which was 200 kilograms more than before. Boom! Su Xiaoma kicked him again with a force of 2,500 pounds. Sure enough, after playing football for a while, his leg strength and athlete's foot chi had improved greatly, far surpassing the strength of his fists. A normal 12th stage meridian opening realm cultivator's strength was around 1,500. Su Xiaoma's aptitude wasn't high, so he could break through to 2,000 jin. This meant that the molding pill and the molding machine were very useful. Lu Qianqian also took the body-shaping pill. Although she was shocked, she didn't show it and didn't test her strength in front of the machine. She was really a cold and arrogant young lady. Qingyang, Jun Changshao ordered. Let the disciples enter the molding room and the spirit energy formation in batches to achieve a balanced increase in strength. Yes. You are my little apple. Just like the most beautiful clouds in the sky. Spring came again, and flowers bloomed on the hillside. You will reap what you sow. Early in the morning, the sound system played the divine song Little Apple. Under the dynamic rhythm, the iron-bone disciples lined up neatly and danced to the beat. Yi Xingchen was among them. His steps were stiff and his movements were incoherent. He looked like he had nothing left to live for. After the morning exercise, the refreshed disciples either entered the molding room or the spirit energy formation under the second senior brother's arrangement and started a new day of cultivation. Jun Changshao ate in the cafeteria and planned to go to Huyang City. Suddenly, he heard a boom, and the red door flew past him and shattered on the training field. Friendly reminder. The Sect protection formation may not be activated every day. My door, thud. Ma Yongning strode over. His face was bruised and his body was covered in dust. He roared, "Who carried me away? Damn it!" Jun Changshao rushed over and poured his spirit energy into his fists. He rushed at the wandering swordsman and gave him a flurry of punches and kicks. Did my door offend you? You kick it every time you come. Thump thump. At noon, on the training field, Ma Yongning, whose head was full of bumps and bruises, was waving a small hammer and repairing the red door that was split in half. Hiss! He accidentally touched his sore muscles and sucked in a breath of cold air. I'm a swordsman. How can I do such chores? Ma Yongning's eyes flashed with anger. He suddenly threw away the hammer and rushed to the door with his saber. Li Fei. Yes, senior brother. The disciple named Li Fei put down the ball and locked onto the escaping Ma Yongning. He raised his leg and shot the ball. Whoosh him! Ma Yongning sensed that something was wrong. He looked back and was hit in the face by the ball. He fell backward. What a great sure-kill technique that relied on one's face to catch the ball. Su Xiaoma walked over and dragged one of his feet to the martial arts arena, saying, before the sect leader left, he said that if you don't fix the door, you can forget about leaving the Ironbone sect. Damn it. Ma Yongning was furious, but he could only rub his face and continue to fix the door. Huyang City. Sect leader Jun stood on the main street and smelled the medicinal herbs in the air. He sighed. as expected of a medicinal herb city. As one of the 8 cities in Azure Sun County, Huyang City mainly sold pills and medicinal herbs. The AI family in the city had a long-established medicinal herb store. Jun Changxiao didn't have the time to look around the unique buildings in the city. He asked the passers-by and went to the medicinal herb market. It was the right choice to come. He only went to a medicinal herb store and collected 5 sets of medicinal herbs for healing pills. There were at least 10 medicinal herb stores in the medicinal herb market. This made Jun Changxiao very happy. He went from one store to another and bought all kinds of medicinal herbs for refining pills. After an hour of shopping, he concluded that there were 20 sets of healing pills, 5 sets of molding pills, 4 sets of qi-gathering pills, and 2 sets of revolving pills. Huyang City was known as the medicinal herb city in Azure Sun County. It was indeed better than Azure Sun City in terms of medicinal herbs. However, the quantity was still not enough for Jun Changxiao. Therefore, he could only go to the largest medicinal herb store in the market, the AI family's medicinal herb store. "Young master, do you need anything?" When he entered the medicinal herb store, a quick-witted shop assistant came up to him. Jun Changxiao swept his gaze over the dazzling array of shelves inside the store and said, "Call your shopkeeper over. We have a big business deal to discuss." "Big business?" The shop assistant hurriedly went to inform the shopkeeper in the inner courtyard. Soon, a pot-bellied middle-aged man walked out. He cupped his hands and smiled. "I am Ma Zheng, the shopkeeper of the medicinal herb store. May I know who you are?" Jun Changxiao placed a medicinal herb in the basket and said with his hands behind his back, "Iron Bone Upright Sect's Sect leader." Shopkeeper Ma was shocked. "You are Jun Changxiao." Looking at Shopkeeper Ma's expression, Sect leader Jun guessed that Shopkeeper Ma must have heard about the big things he had done recently. "Sigh, I am no longer an ordinary person. I can scare people when I announce my identity." Shopkeeper Ma's face darkened and he shouted, "You dare to come to my medicinal herb store after beating up my young master AI? You have guts. Men, take him down." Swoosh, swoosh. A group of thugs rushed out from the inner courtyard and surrounded Jun Changxiao. The corner of his mouth twitched as he thought to himself, This isn't right? Chapter 92. AI Family Main Hall. AI Family's patriarch, AI Shanka, was discussing the recent medicinal herb business with several elders, a smile appearing on his face from time to time. AI Shanka and the other elder were also full of smiles. During this period of time, many cities and sects came to purchase medicinal herbs. Business was booming, and the profits were higher than previous years, so they were naturally in a good mood. "Patriarch, have you heard that Iron Bone's disciple won the sect competition?" After discussing business, AI Shanka began to chat. AI Shanka took a sip of tea and said, "I heard. Third brother, you're right, Iron Bone is not simple." Second elder AI Shangfang said. AI Shanka said, "For disciples took the top 4 of the sect competition. This is unprecedented. Iron Bone can do it is not by chance. Also," he paused and said in a deep voice, "Spirit Spring Sect was also destroyed by Iron Bone's sect leader." "What?" AI Shanka and AI Shangfang were shocked. The two of them had been in seclusion for the past few days, and the news stopped at Iron Bone's victory. AI Shanka said that Jun Changxiao went to Spirit Spring Mountain alone, killed Wei Yishi, Wei Inu, and more than 30 disciples, and even set fire to Spirit Spring Sect. "That's too reckless," AI Shangfang said with his eyes wide open. AI Shanka said, "Spirit Spring Sect and Sacred Spring Sect are related. Iron Bone destroyed them. Isn't that courting death?" AI Shangfang said, "Not just Sacred Spring Sect. In my opinion, the 100 Races Alliance will not let Iron Bone go. After all, the Alliance has a rule that members are not allowed to destroy sections." AI Shanka said, "Yesterday, Alliance Master Qin held an Alliance meeting at Star Moon Pavilion. They should be discussing how to punish Iron Bone." Puchi puchi. A carrier pigeon flew over and landed on the tea table with a small bamboo tube tied to its leg. AI Shanka took it down and said, "News from Green Sun City." When he opened it, his expression froze, and his eyes were filled with shock. Patriarch, what's wrong? Ai Shangfang asked. Ai Shang tossed the letter over, and Ai Shang came over as well. After the two of them read the letter, a look of surprise appeared on their faces. There were only a few paragraphs in the letter, and the content was as follows. The leader of the Ironbone Sect severely injured the leader of the Long Blade Sect with 2 moves. 2 moves to heavily injure a 9th-grade martial disciple, Shentong? Ai Shangfang was startled. Could that Ironbone Sect leader be a martial master? Ai Shangke recalled the scene when he fought with Jun Changshao, and said with a grave expression, "No wonder he's so fast. He's a martial master." The speed of the afterimage was still imprinted in his mind. Every time he thought about it, he would feel a chill run down his spine. After all, if he had any killing intent at that time, he would have died many times over. Ai Shang was silent for a moment before he said, "This iron bone is no small matter." At first, when Ashank was defeated, he was still furious. He almost couldn't stop him, and took his men to Ironbone to take revenge. What about now? His attitude had changed. Annihilating the Spirit Spring Sect, and severely injuring the leader of the Long Blade Sect meant that Jun Changshao was not simple. The AI family was originally a business, and they valued harmony. Ironbone's recent performance was amazing, so they naturally had to consider carefully. Ai Shang said, "Patriarch, for such a sect, it's best if we can befriend them. If we can't make enemies." Makes sense. Ai Shang agreed. Not good. At this moment, a servant rushed in and said in a panic, "Sect leader, elders, someone is causing trouble in the medicine shop." Ai Shang and Ai Shang stood up, their eyes filled with anger. The AI family had been in Huyang City for hundreds of years, and this was the first time someone dared to cause trouble in the medicine shop. Ai Shang asked in a low voice, "What happened?" The servant said anxiously, "A guy who called himself the leader of the Ironbone Sect. He beat up our guards." What? Ai Shang and Ai Shang opened their mouths. Just now they were talking about Jun Changshao, saying that they should befriend him. If they can't make enemies. Now he directly came to cause trouble in the medicine shop. This was a bit fucked. "Let's go." Ai Shang stood up and walked out. At the entrance of the AI family's medicine shop, a group of martial artists were gathered, sometimes pointing at the shop, sometimes discussing. "Yes, it's the leader of the Ironbone Sect. Strange, he's not in the Ironbone Sect. Why is he in Huyang City?" The AI family has been in the city for hundreds of years, and no one dared to cause trouble. This Ironbone Sect leader is really bold. If he's a coward, how can he annihilate the Spirit Spring Sect? Someone has already informed the AI family. There will be a good show to watch. They're here. The AI family's patriarch and elders are here." Someone shouted. Many cultivators turned their heads, and saw the AI family's patriarch walking over with 2 elders. His expression was very serious. Swish. Swish. Ai Shang and the other 2 walked into the medicine shop. One by one, the AI family's martial artists fell to the ground, holding their stomachs. It seemed that they were beaten to the point that they couldn't stand up. "Elder AI." Suddenly, a voice came from the living room. "We meet again." Jun Changshao crossed his legs and leaned back on the chair. The shopkeeper called Ma Zheng stood beside him, covering his face. His legs and stomach were trembling violently, because the Azure Dragon biscuit was pressed against his neck. If he moved a little, his head would be separated from his body. Ai Shang's eyes darkened. His subordinates and shopkeeper were beaten to such a state. This was too much. Ai Shang said in a deep voice, "Sect leader Jun, what do you mean?" Jun Changshao looked at the trembling shopkeeper and said, "I came to your shop to talk business with the AI family, but the shopkeeper ordered people to take me down, so I was forced to fight back." Hearing this, Ai Shang and the other 2 understood. Ai Shang cupped his hands and said, "Sect leader Jun, we can talk things out. Please put down the saber first." If he didn't hear that the other party had seriously injured the Long Saber Sect's patriarch, he wouldn't be so kind. "That's right." Jun Changshao put down the saber and said, "If he was as polite as Elder AI, things wouldn't have turned out this way." Plop. The saber on his neck was gone. Shopkeeper Ma collapsed on the ground, cold sweat running down his forehead. The injured cultivator was carried away, and so was the frightened shopkeeper. Only Jun Changxiao and the 3 AI family elders were left in the shop. The 4 of them sat in the living room. The atmosphere was solemn. AI Shang suppressed his unhappiness and said, "Sect leader Jun wants to talk business with the AI family?" "That's right," Jun Changxiao said. "It's a big deal." "What kind of deal?" AI Shang was interested. Business was the most important thing in the world. That was the AI family's motto. Jun Changxiao put a piece of paper on the table and said, "The herbs written here, I want as many as your AI family has." AI Shang and the 2 elders looked at each other and picked up the paper. There were 12 kinds of herbs written on it, some common and some rare. Sect leader Jun, he raised his head and said, "Are you sure you want as many as you have?" Jun Changxiao could tell from the AI family's eyes that the AI family had a lot of the herbs he needed. So he said seriously, "That's right. I want as many as you have." AI Shang said, "Sect leader Jun, the AI family has more than 200 of the rarest flower leaves. If you buy all of them, the price will not be cheap." More than 200? Jun Changxiao's heart was in turmoil. There were 3 kinds of cyclone pills. The first 2 were easy to find, but the flower leaves were hard to find. The AI family had more than 200 of them. If he bought all of them, he could refine more than 200 cyclone pills. "I want all of them," Jun Changxiao said without hesitation. For kinds of herbs, he had to get them even if he had to sell everything. AI Shang pinched his fingers and narrowed his eyes. After some calculation, he said, "Sect leader Jun, if you want all of the herbs written here, you will need to pay at least 100,000 taels." 100,000 taels? Jun Changxiao crossed his arms and smiled. "No problem." Chapter 93. Jun Changxiao's net worth was 50,000 taels, after looting the mountain bandits' treasure house and receiving the reward. Could he gather 100,000 taels? Yes. After destroying the Spirit Spring Sect, not counting the various treasures and martial skills, just the gold alone was worth 10,000 taels. AI Shang and AI Shangke, the 2 elders, were surprised. 100,000 taels was not a small amount. It was inconceivable that a 9th-rate sect could take out so much. "Master AI," Jun Changxiao said, "how long will it take to transport these herbs?" AI Shangke thought for a moment and said, "If Master Jun needs them urgently, they can be transported here in 4 hours." "I need them urgently," Jun Changxiao said. He couldn't wait to get the herbs in his hands and take out the furnace to refine pills in large quantities. AI Shangke looked at AI Shangfang and said, "Go and inform the medicine store elders to transport all the herbs Master Jun needs to the medicine store." Yes. AI Shangfang received the order and turned to leave. 4 hours was a bit long. So AI Shangke chatted casually. "Master Jun needs so many herbs. Could it be that you want to refine pills?" Jun Changxiao said, "Yes." The AI family was in the business of pills and herbs, so they might need them in the future. His tone was more gentle, not as arrogant and despotic as in the Moonstar Pavilion. This was Jun Changxiao. He could ruthlessly destroy the Spirit Spring Sect, but he could also sit down and chat with Master AI like an old friend. This was because the AI family valued harmony. If it was a martial arts family, if their subordinates were beaten in their own shop, they would have drawn their swords long ago. AI Shangke was surprised. "Is Master Jun refining pills?" "Yes," Jun Changxiao said. The surprise in AI Shangke's eyes became stronger. "Master Jun's cultivation is extraordinary, and you know alchemy. You are a dragon among men." As expected of someone in the business world, his words made Jun Changxiao embarrassed. He said humbly, "Jun also learned a craft. If I don't become a sect master in the future, I can still make a living." AI Shangke and AI Shangke's mouths twitched. The path of alchemy was not like that of a chef. One could learn the craft just by picking up a spoon. It depended on one's aptitude and physique. According to the statistics of the relevant departments of the Starfall continent, only 1 in 100,000 people had the aptitude for alchemy, which was quite rare. AI Shangyi said, "Since Sect Master Jun views the Tao of pills as a craft, I presume you already have a very high level of attainment in this field? Not bad. As soon as Jun Changxiao finished speaking, a thought arose in his mind. He leaned forward and clasped his fingers together. "Oh right, Patriarch AI, does your AI family accept pills?" AI Shang smiled and said, "My AI family is in the business of collecting and selling medicinal pills." The AI clan's pill workshop had branches in every city in the Azure Sun County. At least half of the pills sold in those branches were purchased from others. It could be considered as buying a brand. Jun Changxiao said, "I have a kind of healing pill here. Is Patriarch AI interested in purchasing it?" This, Patriarch AI hesitated for a moment and said, "To be honest, Sect Master Jun, healing pills are the most common medicinal pills. Our AI family has a lot of them, so we don't have any need for them at the moment." Jun Changxiao leaned back in his chair and said, "Patriarch AI, forgive me for being blunt, but your AI family's healing pills are just a pile of trash." AI Shang and AI Shang were stunned. Their eyes were filled with anger. The healing pills they sold had always been of high quality. It was definitely unacceptable for them to be described as trash. Jun Changxiao took out a beginner healing pill and placed it on the table. "Patriarch AI, you can take a look at the healing pill I refined." AI Shang said indifferently, "Sect Master Jun, there's nothing special about your pill." As a veteran who had been dealing with medicinal pills for many years, the quality of medicinal pills could be roughly determined with a single glance. The beginner healing pill was indeed not outstanding. Its color was also slightly dull. When he took it out to save Li Qingyang, Lu Qianqian thought it was an ordinary medicine. Jun Changxiao said, "Patriarch AI, please take a closer look." AI Shang and AI Shang looked at each other. They pinched the healing pill and released spiritual energy to envelop it. They shook their heads and said, "Sect Master Jun, this is indeed very ordinary. It's like a beginner's healing pill. Generations of alchemists, your AI family really doesn't know what's good for them. How about this?" Jun Changxiao said, "Patriarch AI can invite the injured shopkeeper Ma to verify the effects of my healing pill." AI Shang glanced at AI Shang. The latter nodded and walked out of the hall. Soon he brought Mahjong over. Shua! Suddenly, Jun Changxiao rushed over. He poured spiritual energy into his fist and fiercely punched shopkeeper Ma's big belly, causing it to cave in. Pooh! Shopkeeper Ma's eyes suddenly widened, and he spat out a mouthful of blood. Jun Changxiao circled behind him and threw him over his shoulder to the ground. Then he punched him twice. Da-da! The whole process happened very quickly. When shopkeeper Ma was half dead on the ground, AI Shang stood up angrily and shouted, "Jun Changxiao, you've gone too far." For the sake of business, he could ignore what happened just now. But now, he attacked shopkeeper Ma and beat him up like this. Even a clay figurine would be angry. Jun Changxiao returned to his seat and held his face with one hand. He made a gesture and said, "Shopkeeper Ma's injuries can be considered serious. Patriarch AI, please try the healing pill. If it can't cure him immediately, Jun is willing to destroy his meridians." In order to promote his healing pill, he beat someone up violently and then made a bet to commit suicide. This was definitely a double whammy. "Cure him immediately?" AI Shang said coldly. "Sect Master Jun, do you think this healing pill is an immortal pill?" Saying that, he walked in front of shopkeeper Ma and threw a beginner healing pill into his mouth. After all, the attack just now was too heavy. If he didn't treat him quickly, his life would be in danger. AI Shang also took out his own healing pill. However, before he could pour out the healing pill, the half-dead shopkeeper Ma suddenly stood up from the ground. Dang dang dang. AI Shang and AI Shang retreated in shock. Their faces were full of shock. Shopkeeper Ma, who was beaten half-dead by Jun Changxiao, stood up straight. It was simply too shocking. Shopkeeper Ma raised his hands and said with a dumbfounded face, "My injuries are healed?" AI Shang and AI Shang's eyes gradually widened. Jun Changxiao's attack just now was very violent. This guy was definitely seriously injured. Even if he was treated in time, he couldn't avoid being bedridden for 3 months. After taking a seemingly ordinary healing pill, he actually stood up and could even speak. What the hell? Or was it a joke? AI Shang was after all experienced in life. He stepped forward and grabbed shopkeeper Ma's wrist. He poured his spiritual energy into it, and saw that the meridians in his body were intact. He was instantly petrified. AI Shang also rushed over and grabbed shopkeeper Ma's other hand. He saw that the other party didn't have any internal injuries. His mind went blank, and he was stunned on the spot. Such serious injuries healed so quickly. This wasn't a healing pill. This was an immortal pill. AI Shang and AI Shang, as well as shopkeeper Ma, were dumbfounded. They stood there like three art sculptures. Jun Changxiao crossed his arms and said with a smile, "Master AI, how is the effect of Jun's healing pill?" AI Shang came back to his senses and hurriedly leaned over. He placed his hands on the table and said with a serious expression, "Sect Master Jun, my AI family will buy as many of these healing pills as you have." Seriously injured people would recover immediately after taking it. The healing pill's effect was simply terrifying. Any normal businessman would know that once it was sold, it would cause a huge commotion. Jun Changxiao smiled. "Price? Sect Master Jun, open it yourself," AI Shang said. Jun Changxiao rubbed his chin. After thinking for a while, he said, 10,000 taels for one pill. "Okay." AI Shang agreed without any hesitation. Jun Changxiao's mouth twitched. He was secretly annoyed. Did I ask for too little? P.S. I'm old book and the new book will be updated together. The main character of old book is Yin Fei Yang. If the main character of the new book suddenly changed his name, it must be a mistake. Everyone can leave a message to remind me, and I will correct it. Chapter 94. It was common for cultivators in the Falling Star continent to be injured. If one wasn't injured, and didn't have the experience of being bedridden for half a month, they would be too embarrassed to greet their peers. Therefore, Jun Changxiao's healing pill could instantly heal a heavily injured person. It could only be described as heaven-defying. As the AI clan's patriarch, who had been in the pill business for many years, with his keen sense of smell, he could instantly smell the high value and profit of this pill. Not to mention 10,000, he wouldn't hesitate even if it was 50,000. Jun Changxiao was very depressed, but he couldn't change the price he offered, so he said, "AI family head, this king has refined 10 of these healing pills. Shopkeeper Ma has already taken one, so there are still 9 left. If you want all of them, then I'll give you 100,000 taels." He still had 20 beginner-grade healing pills. If he didn't sell all of them, he could keep some for himself and raise the price next time. As for the 10 healing pills, it was fine if he sold them less. He would just treat it as a test run. AI Shang was on the verge of collapse. If he knew from the start that the healing pill was heaven-defying, he definitely wouldn't have given it to Ma Zheng. After all, it could be sold at a sky-high price. "Sure," Patriarch AI said straightforwardly. "My AI clan is willing to pay 100,000 for these 9 pills." Jun Changxiao placed the 9 healing pills on the table and said, "Patriarch AI, do you want to pay with banknotes or medicinal herbs?" AI Shang said, "My AI clan has always done business according to the rules. We won't pay with goods." As he spoke, he took out a thick stack of banknotes from his interspatial ring. It was exactly 100,000. Damn it. Bringing so much money out. Isn't the AI clan's patriarch afraid of being robbed? Jun Changxiao didn't take back the banknotes and said, "Patriarch AI, although the healing pill can heal injuries, my alchemy skills are limited. It's only suitable for martial disciples and meridian opening realm cultivators." AI Shang's face changed slightly. He was still thinking of buying the healing pill and increasing the publicity to let the entire Azure Sun County know about it. If it was only suitable for meridian opening realm cultivators and martial disciples, the limitations would be too great. It can heal injuries quickly. Even if it's only suitable for meridian opening realm cultivators and martial disciples, it's still terrifying. AI Shang thought for a moment and said, "Shangke, bring the contract." Yes. AI Shangke took out a transaction contract. As expected of a professional business family, they even had to sign and make a mark. "Sect Master Jun." AI Shang narrowed his eyes and said seriously, I hope that these 9 pills will have the same effect as the previous one. He was worried that he would be cheated. Jun Changxiao leaned over and said, "Don't worry, Patriarch AI. Since I'm here to sell medicinal pills, I won't cheat." AI Shang also believed that the leader of a sect would not do such a thing. The two of them signed their names and pressed their fingerprints, completing the transaction. Only then did Jun Changxiao unceremoniously store the 100,000 silver notes into his spatial ring. He had spent several hundred taels on the ingredients for the 10 healing pills. And in the end, he had sold them for 100,000 taels. The profit was terrifying. Jun Changxiao began to fantasize. With enough medicinal ingredients, he could refine more healing pills and sell them. Then, he would spend a lot of money to expand the Iron Bone factory and build it as grand as the Imperial Palace. After the medicinal pill business was settled, the two of them began to chat enthusiastically. More than 2 hours later, AI Shangfang walked into the shop and said, "Family head, the herb sect head Jun requested have been prepared." As he spoke, he put down a few spatial rings. AI Shang stretched out his hand and said with a smile, "Sect head Jun, please check the goods." This kind of spatial ring did not need to recognize the owner. Anyone could peek into it. Jun Changxiao entered the rings one by one until he counted the herbs inside. Then he said, "The quality of the herbs is not bad. Family head AI, please give me a price." Sect head Jun, "These herbs are a total of 100 and 500 taels." AI Shang said. AI Shang narrowed his eyes and said, "Sect head Jun, just give me a total." Shua. Jun Changxiao waved his hand lightly, and 10,000 taels of gold piled up like a small mountain in the living room. Although gold was more valuable than silver, silver and banknotes were still the main currency in the Falling Star continent. Jun Changxiao did not use the 100,000 taels of banknotes he just received. He directly paid the gold, because he did not want to go to the bank to exchange for other items. TSK. Family head AI raised his thumb and said, 10,000 taels of gold. Sect head Jun is really generous. As he spoke, he gave AI Shang a look. The other party took out another contract. It was obvious that this medicinal pill business had to be signed and stamped. Very proper, very particular. Jun Changxiao signed his name and stamped it. When family head AI also stamped his name, a crisp system notification sounded in his ears. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the hidden mission, scattering thousands of gold. You have gained 20 contribution points. Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the hidden mission, scattering thousands of gold. You have gained 50 contribution points. Ding! Sect contribution points, 245500. It can't be, right? Spending gold is also a hidden mission? Ding! Congratulations to the host for completing the hidden mission, scattering thousands of gold. You have triggered the hidden reward. The right to purchase the aptitude transformation liquid has been transferred to the purchase items section. There is a hidden reward. Jun Changxiao hurriedly opened the system store and clicked on the purchase items section. He saw that the originally blank section had an additional aptitude transformation liquid. He clicked on the details and the content was item, aptitude transformation liquid. Effect: can transform one's aptitude and raise it by 1 level. Note: can only be used by middle-grade aptitude users. Effectiveness: lifetime. Price: 50 contribution points. Seeing that the effect was for middle-grade aptitude users, Jun Changxiao suddenly laughed loudly, scaring the 3 higher-ups of the AI family. What is going on? While the 3 of them were dumbfounded, Jun Changxiao cupped his fists and said, "Master AI, I will take my leave first. Please." AI Shang Yao and the 2 elders hurriedly sent him off. He's out. Outside the medicine store, the onlookers were very active. They had waited for 4 hours to see how the AI family would deal with the trouble caused by the Iron Bone Sect Master. However, when they saw the AI family master and the 2 elders accompanying Jun Changxiao out with a smile, the onlookers' expressions froze. He came to the store to cause trouble, and the owner sent him off with a smile. This is not right. Goodbye, Master AI. Have a safe journey, Sect Master Jun. Under the gaze of the onlookers, Jun Changxiao left. Ding! Host has spent 50 contribution points and obtained Aptitude Transformation Liquid X1. It has been transferred to the Space Ring. Ding! Sect contribution points, 195500. After leaving the city, Jun Changshao bought the Aptitude Transformation Liquid and drank it all. Ding! Host has used Aptitude Transformation Liquid X1. Transforming Spiritual Root Aptitude. Spiritual Root Aptitude Transformation completed. Host has successfully broken through to 7th grade Martial Disciple. After the middle grade Spiritual Root was upgraded to a high grade Spiritual Root, Jun Changshao's cultivation was driven by it and rose to another level. With the upgrade of the Spiritual Root, he had a higher compatibility with the spiritual qi in the world. When he walked on the road, he could feel the spiritual qi following him like a shadow. At that moment, Jun Changshao finally understood why Li Qingyang, who had a high-grade spiritual root, was called a rare genius. Awesome. What was even more awesome was that when he returned to the sect, he opened the alchemy pavilion. Because the herbs were stored in the space ring, the 4 types of elixirs were all in the state of being able to be refined. Chapter 95. Jun Changshao spent 100,000 taels to buy the materials needed to refine pills. More than 800 sets of beginner healing pills. More than 400 sets of beginner shaping pills and qi gathering pills. More than 200 sets of qi whirling pills. Most of the 100,000 taels were spent on the last 3 types of pills. Healing pills took up a smaller proportion. Refine. Jun Changshao did not return to the sect. He pressed the button to refine beginner healing pills. Ding! Ding! A crisp sound rang out beside his ear, and one pill after another appeared in the space ring like a glass ball. In a short time, more than 800 beginner healing pills were refined. If it were an experienced alchemist, it would take at least a few months to refine even the most common healing pills. Jun Changshao said, "This alchemy pavilion is too powerful." After the sect was upgraded to level 2, he was initially concerned about the various upper limits. In fact, the one that was truly powerful was the alchemy pavilion. Jun Changshao was now looking forward to the smithing pavilion after upgrading the sect to level 3. With the alchemy pavilion as a template, he guessed that the smithing pavilion should also have the function of forging weapons with one button. Pills. Weapons. They were crucial to the martial artists of the Falling Star continent. If they had both, how could they not be strong? Thinking about it was just thinking. He was still too far away from upgrading the sect to level 3. After all, if the number of people was not enough, he could not trigger the sect mission, and it would be difficult to obtain achievement value. Continue refining pills. Jun Changshao was refining pills as he hurried on his way. A beautiful ding-ding-ding sound rang in his ears. The pills were also constantly gathering in the spatial ring. However, there was a small problem. When refining beginner shaping pills in large quantities, the speed was obviously slower than refining healing pills. The system said, although the alchemy pavilion can refine pills as a whole, if the level of the pills is higher, it will take a longer time. I see. Jun Changshao did not mind. After all, it was not that much slower. Half an hour later, all 400 sets of body-shaping pills were out of the furnace. As for refining the 400 sets of qi-gathering pills, it took an hour. After refining the 3 types of pills, he started refining the most important one, the qi-whirling pills. In the end, he rushed for 2 hours and returned to the iron bone. Only then did he finish refining all 200 points. It's a bit slow, Jun Changshao murmured. There were more than 1,800 pills in total, and with the help of the Pill Apothecary Pavilion, Zhang Xian had traveled all the way from Huyang City to Ironbone City in less than 4 hours. Yet that fellow actually had the cheek to complain that it was too slow. Sect leader, the door has been fixed. What do you think? Su Xiaoma pointed at the red-painted door erected on the martial arts field as soon as he entered the sect. It's all right. Jun Changshao asked, where's that guy? He's locked in a cell, Su Xiaoma said. The corner of Jun Changshao's mouth twitched. You locked him up with 2 assassins. What if a fight breaks out? Sect master, don't worry. The 3 of them are very honest. Su Xiaoma grinned. Really? Jun Changshao got up and went to the prison. Through the gap between the door and window, he saw Ma Yongming leaning against the wall, hugging a knife and looking at the two assassins. The atmosphere was slightly solemn. After a while, Ma Yongming said, "You two have been staring at me for a long time. Do you want to learn from each other?" Gold-ranked assassin, assassin. Clang. Ma Yongming drew his knife and said in a deep voice, "I've been in the martial arts world for many years. What kind of battle have I not seen? Don't think that you can scare me by wearing black. Come on, let's compete." Gold-ranked assassin and assassin looked at each other and thought, "Is there something wrong with this fellow's brain?" Sect leader, what should we do with them? Su Xiaomo asked. Jun Changshao turned around and said, "Lock Ma Yongning up for a few days and release him. As for the two assassins, keep them locked up." Yes. Jun Changshao went to the training room and trained there for 4 hours. Then, he took a shower and returned to his residence. People from the AI family. Sitting in the study, he murmured, "They should start planning how to advertise the beginner healing pill." Yes, AI Shang and the senior members of the AI family were discussing how to sell the few healing pills and maximize their profits. Phew. Jun Changshao rested his head on his hands and said, "I forgot to tell them not to tell outsiders that I refined the pills." AI Shang was a shrewd businessman. Without his permission, he would never reveal the pills to others. After all, he was afraid that his peers would cut him off. Tomorrow, call the disciples over and distribute the pills to them. Let them have one each. Jun Changshao had spent so much money to refine so many pills. He wanted his disciples to become stronger. Otherwise, how could they become the strongest sect in 100 years? He stayed in the study for a while. Then, he returned to his bedroom and sat cross-legged on the bed. He started to operate the I Ching Jing and began to absorb the spiritual power of heaven and earth. He had a high-grade spiritual root. His absorption and refinement of spiritual power was much faster. The benefit of this was that his Dantian's chi vortex could gather energy at a faster rate. At this time, even if he didn't rely on the system's upgrade function, his progress wouldn't be slower than Li Qingyang's. After several transformations of his spiritual root, Master Jun could be considered to have broken away from his mortal roots. He had gloriously become a genius. This was just the beginning. Jun Changshao's goal was a divine spiritual root. After cultivating for 2 hours, it was already late at night. Jun Changshao opened the attribute panel and clicked on the beginner's shop. Rows of products appeared. After browsing through them, he didn't find anything useful. He decisively refreshed. Ding! Sect achievement value 185500. There were many new products. When Jun Changshao looked through them one by one, he suddenly stood up with a whoosh. His eyes were filled with excitement. On the second last row, the last item was a modified QBU 88 sniper rifle. Gun. Sniper rifle. A domestically produced sniper rifle. Jun Changshao was extremely excited. He said in disbelief, "I got a sniper rifle? I got a sniper rifle. Ahaha. Ahahahaha." The laughter broke the silence of the night. The disciples who were sleeping soundly woke up. They were puzzled and asked, "Where did that goose cry come from?" The system couldn't help but ridicule. It only has a 0.1% chance. The host's luck is dog shit. He was bored and directly got a sniper rifle. His luck was indeed heaven-defying. Jun Changshao calmed down. He didn't bother with the system. Instead, he excitedly opened the detailed introduction. Item: Modified QBU 88 Sniper Rifle. Introduction: The original sniper rifle of the Chinese Army. After modification, it is suitable for the world of martial arts. The bullets are condensed from crystal nuclei. It can shoot accurately from a long distance. Effect: Fast firing rate, long range, strong penetrating power. Duration permanent. Weakness: Although it has been modified, the bullet capacity is only 10 rounds. Also, the recoil is large. It needs to be supported on the ground to shoot. Otherwise, use with caution. Price: 100 contribution points. After seeing the price, Jun Changshao stared and said, "A modified sniper rifle is actually comparable to 2 bottles of quality modification liquid. The system said. The host doesn't have to buy it. If I don't buy it, my head will be kicked by a donkey. Jun Changshao said. He had already clicked on the purchase button. Ding! The host has spent 100 contribution points. You have obtained a modified QBU, 88 Sniper Rifle X1. It has been transferred into the spatial ring. Ding! Sect contribution points, 85,500. Before the notification ended, Jun Changshao had already taken out the QBU, 88 Sniper Rifle. The rifle was nearly 1 meter long. It was very heavy and very heavy. What was even more impressive was that the body of the rifle was painted in green camouflage. Shwa. With a thought, he took out the modified 8x scope and stuck it in the aiming slot. Jun Changshao raised his left hand and held it with his right hand. He closed his left eye and leaned his right eye against the lens. A man should play with a sniper rifle. Chapter 96. The moment he raised the Type 88 sniper rifle, Jun Changshao felt that he could kill gods and immortals. The system poured cold water on him. Although the sniper rifle is powerful, without the high-level crystal core to condense bullets, its power is about the same as the Desert Eagle. How about using the Earth Fire Wolf King's crystal core to make bullets? Jun Changshao asked. The system was silent for a while, then said, "It's okay." Jun Changshao and the gun entered the space ring, took out the Earth Fire Wolf King's crystal core, and loaded it with bullets like the Desert Eagle. Ding! 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 After a while, the Type 88 sniper rifle's magazine was lined with 10 bullet-shaped lights, indicating that all the bullets were loaded. As for the Earth Fire Wolf King's crystal core, it was all used up. Damn! Jun Changshao was shocked. So much energy. One Earth Fire Wolf King's crystal core. The Desert Eagle can continuously supply 14 bullets. The system said. The sniper rifle is powerful, so naturally it requires more energy to condense the bullets. Jun Changshao's mouth twitched. If I fire a shot, won't the recoil be as high as the sky? So, the system said seriously. Without a strong body, it's best to use the bipod to support the shot. Ka. Jun Changshao opened the bipod and placed it on the window, then leaned against the lens and aimed at the night sky. Ding! Sniper rifle is loaded with bullets. Ding! Do you want to activate the 8x scope enhancement mode? Hearing the system's notification, Jun Changshao secretly said, "What the hell is this enhancement mode?" Although he did not understand, he still shouted in his heart, "Activate!" Ding! The host has successfully activated the 8x scope enhancement mode, consuming 5 contribution points. Ding! Sect contribution points, 80,500. Damn you! Jun Changshao scolded. Deducting contribution points, do you have to be so deceitful? And, suddenly, he felt the 8x scope tremble slightly. He hurriedly looked at it, and the expression on his face froze. In the scope's field of vision, he could clearly see the wild rabbits looking for food a few hundred meters away from the sect. Damn it! Jun Changshao said in disbelief. This is X-ray vision. Shwa. He moved the sniper rifle and aimed in another direction. As long as he could see all the animals that appeared at night clearly. Jun Changshao could not hide his excitement as he said, "I am now Buddha Lulai." Shwa. He shifted his position again and aimed at the male disciple's room. He could clearly see Li Qingyang, Su Xiaoma, and the others in the room. Some of them were cultivating, while others were sleeping. Jun Changshao raised his gun and aimed at the female disciple's room. Just as he was about to move, he suppressed this thought and said in all seriousness, Jun Changshao, you are the leader of a sect. How can you do such a despicable thing as peeping at a female disciple? Yes, just a quick glance. He still aimed his gun at the female disciple's room, but his gaze suddenly turned cold, because when he moved, he discovered that there were 3 men in black hiding behind a rock a few hundred meters away from the sect. Assassin! Motherfucker! Why are they here again? Just as the 8x scope locked onto the men in black, a soft voice sounded in his ear. Old 8 must be trapped in Iron Bone. We must find a way to save him. This little ninth-rate sect, could it be a dragon's lair or a tiger's den? After the 4 assassins of my drizzle building went in, they never came out again. In an instant, Jun Changshao determined that he had eavesdropped on their conversation. His mouth twitched. X-ray vision eavesdropping, as expected of the enhanced mode. This iron bone is a bit strange. Let's first observe in the dark before we make a move. Friend, don't be in the dark. Your existence, even your whispers, can't be hidden under the 8x scope. The leader only gave us 3 days. Now there is only 1 day left. If we don't kill the leader of Iron Bone and save old 8, it will be hard to report back. Kill me? Jun Changshao's gaze became colder. He had already guessed that the assassins who came to kill him earlier were hired by Spirit Spring Sect. This time, the assassins came again because of drizzle building. Taking someone's money to get rid of a disaster for them is understandable. Jun Changshao said coldly, but you came to provoke me without an employer. Drizzle building, you are courting death. Since he dared to destroy Spirit Spring Sect, he naturally dared to destroy an assassin organization. Whoosh! Jun Changshao set up his sniper rifle and walked out of the room. He jumped onto the roof of the disciples' room and crawled down. He opened the mount and aimed the muzzle at the stone. Whoosh! In the 8x scope, the crosshair automatically locked onto the head of a man in black. As expected of the magically modified 8x scope, it had X-ray vision, eavesdropping and self-aiming. It was simply too powerful. Crack! The bullet was loaded, and the safety was pulled. Jun Changshao only needed to pull the trigger and shoot, and he would definitely hit the assassin he had locked onto, and he would be able to make a headshot. Yi Xingchen, who was cultivating, felt a bit of dust fall from the roof, but he did not think much of it. He continued to circulate Tendon Changing Classic, and gathered his spirit energy to attack his second meridian. After midnight we will quietly sneak in. The man in black said in a low voice as he poked his head out from the edge of the stone. He did not know that there was a sniper hiding on the roof of the sect, and the muzzle was locked onto his head. Assassins were mainly assassins. Snipers were also mainly assassins. Their professions were similar, and they were like ghosts. At this moment, Sect leader Jun was holding his sniper rifle, and it was a battle between 2 ghost professions. But this guy cheated by using his X-ray vision. In front of him, the assassin had nowhere to hide. I have already scouted from above. Jun Changshao lives in an independent courtyard. When we rush in, kill him as quickly as possible. We cannot alert the Iron Bone disciples. Don't worry, fourth brother. We will definitely do it cleanly. Humph, Jun Changshao will not escape this time. The 2 men in black sneered. Ding! Side quest triggered. Opening the data panel. The quest was kill the assassin hiding outside the Sect 03, elite quest. The corners of Jun Changshao's mouth rose into a smile as he asked. At midnight? He was not in a hurry to shoot, because the 2 men in black were hiding behind the stone. When they appeared in his field of vision, he would shoot them one by one. Huff! Jun Changshao took a light breath, and the fingers that were holding the gun began to relax, preparing to bear the recoil of the shot. Time passed and it was midnight. Move! Swoosh! The leader of the men in black jumped out from behind the stone, and jumped from tree to tree. One look, and one could tell that he was a professional assassin. Unfortunately, no matter how cool and elegant he was, he could not escape the automatic aim of the devil multiplier. At this time, Jun Changshao could shoot with his eyes closed. Wait for the other 2 men in black to come out. Swoosh! Swoosh! In a moment, the other 2 men in black came out from behind the stone. They did not stick together, but moved forward from different directions. Quite professional. Jun Changshao moved the muzzle slightly, and locked onto the man in black jumping in front of him. His finger on the trigger suddenly pressed down. Bam! The loud sound shocked Yi Xingchen, who was cultivating in the room, and jumped out of bed. He crossed his arms and said vigilantly, "What's going on?" Bam! Bam! Right at this moment, 2 loud bangs that sounded like firecrackers resounded, and it shook Yi Di's eardrums to the point of ringing while astonishment suffused his eyes. Crack, crack, crack. Suddenly, there was a cracking sound above his head. He looked up, his pupils shrank and cried out in sorrow. What the fuck? Boom! The room collapsed and dust flew everywhere. What's going on? Li Qingyang and Su Xiaoma, who were nearby, ran out in their pajamas. When they saw Yi Xingchen's room collapse, they stood there dumbfounded. Chapter 97. 3 deafening gunshots roused all the disciples of the inner yard, and they quickly gathered around. Junior brother Yi is buried. Quick, quick, dig him out. All the disciples worked together, carrying the bricks and carrying the beam. In a short while, they carried out the dusty Yi Xingchen. Fortunately, he had undergone muscle-building training, or else he would have fainted long ago. Senior brother. Suddenly Su Xiaomo exclaimed, "It's the sect leader." What? Li Qingyang hurriedly jumped to the ruins, and saw the sect leader's leg exposed, his whole body buried in the rubble. Dig! Dig! Everyone continued to move the bricks, and soon they also carried out the dusty Jun Changshao. He grimaced in pain and said, Waste gently. What's going on? What else could he do? He pulled the trigger of the Type 88 sniper rifle, and fired 3 shots outside. Although he killed the 3 assassins one by one, and completed the side mission, the huge recoil almost caused him to suffer internal injuries. This was with the support of a leg stand. If he were to shoot, he would have been sent flying from the disciples' room to the cliff behind. Motherfucker, it's so strong. Jun Changshao secretly rejoiced. Fortunately, he had enough strength. If he was in the meridian opening stage, the recoil would have caused him to die. Although his whole body was weak from the recoil, he was glad that he completed the side mission and was rewarded with 100 contribution points. Now his contribution points to the sect were 180. He had earned back the contribution points from buying the Type 88 sniper rifle, and only wasted 3 bullets and 5 contribution points. There was still another disciple's room. The recoil of the Type 88 sniper rifle was indeed strong. However, under the muscle-building training, Jun Changshao only needed to rest for a night, and his stiff body relaxed. He swung his arm, walked out of the sect, and came to the mountain forest. Of the 3 assassins last night, one had his head blown off, and the other 2 had their chests pierced. The reason why not all of them had their heads blown off was because after Jun Changshao blew off the first one's head, he found it too bloody and cruel, so he changed the 8x scope to automatic chest lock. Needless to say, the first assassin had his head blown off. As for the other 2 assassins, their wounds were as big as a fist. Jun Changshao looked back along the shooting trajectory, and saw that the rocks in the distance had been blown to smithereens. His mouth twitched as he said, I wasn't firing a sniper rifle. I was firing an artillery shell. Shwa. He squatted down, and after searching for a while, he found 3 spatial rings on the bodies of the 3 assassins. He then used the exquisite fire to incinerate the corpses. Inside the spatial rings of the 3 assassins, there was only one movement skill called Ghost Leap Steps, which cost less than 100 taels of silver. Jun Changshao took it and gave the rings to Li Qingyang, Su Xiaoma, and Xiao Ziji. Thank you, sect leader. The 3 of them put on the rings and cupped their fists. Qingyang, Jun Changshao said, gather the disciples. I have something to announce. Yes, it didn't take long for the 100 disciples to gather and line up neatly on the training field. Jun Changshao walked out. After an impassioned speech, he began to let them receive 4 types of elixirs, 1 for each type. The effect of this healing elixir is that no matter how serious the injury is, as long as you take it, you will be healed immediately. As for the beginner-grade body-shaping elixir, after taking it, the strength of your physical body will. Jun Changshao introduced the effects of the elixirs one by one. The disciples holding the 4 types of elixirs all widened their eyes. It's so magical? Yi Xingchen was also very surprised. Although he didn't know much about alchemy in his previous life, he had eaten many high-quality elixirs. A healing elixir that could instantly heal injuries was definitely unheard of. As for strengthening the physical body and increasing the speed of cultivation, he had seen it before. However, those were all high-quality elixirs. How could a 9th-rate sect have them? And to make it so that everyone could have one? Yi Xingchen had doubts. But when he saw the disciples swallow the body-shaping elixirs, he also opened his mouth and threw the elixir into his mouth. When the elixir took effect, and he felt the transformation of his blood and meridians, his expression changed again and again. Bang! Li Fei level 7 meridian opening. Strength of 1100 Jin. Bang! Zhang Wei, level 6 meridian opening. Strength of 930 Jin. Bang! The Ironbone disciples who had taken the beginner-grade body-shaping elixir were tested one by one under the witness of the second senior brother. Yi Xingchen, who was standing at the side, twitched his mouth. These youths had ordinary aptitudes, but each of them had displayed a strength stronger than their level. It was simply unbelievable. Normally, one level would increase their strength by 100 Jin. For a level 5 meridian opening, being able to display a strength of 700 Jin was already considered an innate god of strength. After the Ironbone disciples who had taken the body-shaping elixir, after a round of testing, their strength was generally 150 to 300 Jin higher than their original level. If it was a group of high-grade spiritual roots, it would be understandable. In reality, only a small portion of them had middle-grade spiritual roots. Most of them had low-grade spiritual roots. This also meant that the beginner-grade body-shaping elixir could forcefully increase the strength of Ironbone disciples, regardless of the grade of their spiritual roots. Not bad, not bad. After receiving the test results, Jun Changshao nodded in satisfaction and said, Qingyang, don't let them relax. Continue to cultivate, and strive to enter level 12 meridian opening as soon as possible. Yes, in the morning, with the accompaniment of divine music, Lu Wansher's top-notch meals, and the spirit formation room, the Ironbone disciples were very happy and diligent in their cultivation. They knew that the reason they could become stronger day by day was all because of the sect leader's nurturing. In order to repay him, they could only continuously improve themselves. Gradually, there were disciples who successfully opened their meridians with the help of the spirit formation room and the spirit formation room. Calculating the time, it had been almost 2 months since they had arrived at Ironbone. How was the progress of their martial arts? In the beginning, their average cultivation was only at level 2 or 3. Now they had risen to level 7 meridian opening, and could open a new meridian every few days. Jun Changshao sat on a wooden chair in the main hall and muttered, in less than a month, the disciples should be able to enter level 12 meridian opening. Sect leader, Su Xiaomo ran in excitedly, unable to hide his excitement. Disciple has broken through to martial disciple, successfully condensing a cyclone in his dantian, and breaking through to martial disciple was also because of the cyclone pill. After a while, Tianqi also came to report, sect leader, disciple has broken through to martial disciple. Jun Changshao said, not bad, not bad. Including him, Ironbone already had 5 martial disciples. This was rare in a 9th-rate sect. After cultivating for 4 hours, Jun Changshao opened the status panel again and looked at the shop where the sniper rifle had been refreshed. Soon he saw a martial technique called self-chop. He clicked on the details item, self-chop description. Originally, it was only half a martial technique. Later, it was modified by a mysterious almighty person and became a complete technique. Effect: gather spiritual energy in the palm and form a crescent-shaped flowing light chop. Advantage: after being modified by a mysterious almighty person, it is easy to learn. It is powerful and consumes less spiritual energy. It is suitable for long-distance combat. Disadvantage: can only be cultivated by martial disciples. Price: 10 contribution points. Rank: early middle rank. Only early middle rank? Jun Changshao immediately lost interest. After all, the body metamorphose scripture that had been refreshed was early divine rank. The system said, to be called a mysterious almighty person, he must be an extremely powerful existence. A martial technique that was personally modified, although the rank is low, it must have endless wonderful uses. The host is recommended to purchase 5 stars. Is that so? Jun Changshao clicked on the purchase button. After all, 10 points wasn't expensive. Ding! The host has spent 10 contribution points and obtained Self-Chop X1. It has been transferred into the spatial ring. Ding! Sect contribution points, 177500. Ding! Detected that the host has purchased a spiritual energy martial technique from the shop, automatically matching it with the Sect's martial technique. Chapter 98. Automatically matched with spiritual force type martial arts? Jun Changxiao's mind moved and opened the complete system panel. Sect name: Ironbone Clan. Sect leader: Jun Changxiao. Sect level: 9th rate. Sect construction: level 2. Sect function: medicine refining pavilion. Sect cultivation method: Yijin Jing, divine grade early stage. Self/middle grade early stage. Sect member: 102500. Sect contribution points: 177,500. Sect achievement points: 0 out of 500. Sect mission: none. Sect main mission: within 100 years omitted here. Jun Changxiao touched his chin and said, "This kind of martial arts can also be cultivated by disciples." While speaking, he clicked on the Sect's cultivation method, chose self/martial arts, and directly copied 1,000 books. Ding! Host has spent 10 contribution points, copied self/secret manual X1000, has been transferred to the spatial ring. Jun Changxiao took out a book and read it, and said in surprise, "It is indeed easy to understand." While speaking, he began to circulate according to the meridian circulation diagram on the secret manual, and in less than 10 minutes, he felt spiritual force gathering in his palm. Walking out of the main hall, he stood on the martial arts field and waved his hand in the air. Xiao's spiritual force erupted from his palm, forming a crescent shape, and swept across the ground, and finally exploded on the wooden stake that was erected a few days ago. Bang! The wooden stake exploded on the spot, and the shocked disciples all turned their heads to look. "Oh my God!" Su Xiaoma leaned over with his mouth open and said in surprise, "Sect leader, what kind of move is this?" Jun Changxiao clapped his hands and said with a smile, "A spiritual force type martial arts." Spiritual force type martial arts? Su Xiaoma suddenly opened his eyes wide. In his understanding, only those that gather spiritual force to attack are called spiritual force type martial arts, and they are very rare on the market, and the price is also extremely expensive. Here, Jun Changxiao threw a self/book, patted his shoulder and said, "Take it and cultivate. If you can't learn it, then destroy your own meridians." Saying that, he turned around and returned to the main hall. Su Xiaoma caught the secret manual and saw the words, "I chop," written on the cover. His eyes suddenly became hot and he said loudly, "I will definitely succeed in practicing it." After returning to the main hall, Jun Changxiao called Lu Qianqian, Li Qingyang, and Tian Qi over. He gave each of them a copy of Self/ and told them to cultivate it. Spiritual energy type martial skill? Oh my God, this is not easy to find. Sect leader is too good to us. When Lu Qianqian saw the words early middle rank, she didn't have any plans to cultivate it. However, after flipping it open, she found that the incantation was easy to understand, so she began to try cultivating it. After the Ironbone disciples learned about the spiritual force martial skill, they trained even harder because the sect leader had announced that anyone who became a martial disciple would be able to obtain it. Work hard, work even harder. The cultivation of Ironbone was getting more and more intense, and the strength of the disciples was also getting stronger every day. As for the wandering swordsman Ma Yongning, he was released after being locked up for 5 days. However, he refused to leave the sect no matter what. Why didn't he leave? Because after being locked up for a few days, he had already been deeply impressed by Lu Wancher's cooking skills. He hugged his knife and begged for mercy on the stairs of the cafeteria. "Can you be a little more shameless?" Jun Changxiao said. Ma Yongning was half lying down. With an "I'm so shameless" look, he said, "Sect leader Jun, let's write off our grudges. As long as you let me stay and eat Lady Lu's food every day, I'll do anything." Jun Changxiao, damn it, if I knew earlier, I wouldn't have given him food. Sect leader. Lu Wancher blinked her eyes and said, "The cafeteria still lacks someone to wash the dishes. Why don't we let him stay and do the chores?" "Sure." Ma Yongning stood up with a whoosh, showing his rough hands, and said with incomparable pride, "This pair of hands was born to wash dishes." Jun Changshao held his chin and said, Dudu is busy in the cafeteria every day. It's time to find some helpers to share the chores. Xiaomu. Yes. Pull the two assassins over as well. Let them do chores in the cafeteria. If they don't cooperate, then there's only one word: beat them up ruthlessly. Yes. Su Xiaoma went to the prison. On the way, the corner of his mouth twitched. Those two words are long enough. Just like that, Ma Yongning and the two assassins started to work in the cafeteria. Moreover, they were willing to do it because Lu Wancher's cooking was too delicious. In ancient times, there was an unyielding king who could commit treason with a bowl of fried rice. Today, there were cold-blooded and heartless assassins who could lower their heads after eating a few dishes. The disciples were tirelessly cultivating. Jun Changshao began to think about drizzle building, saying, "The three assassins sent to kill me haven't returned yet. The other party will definitely make a move. Should he eliminate them? No. Jun Changshao dispelled the idea, because they came to assassinate him 3 times in a row and triggered 2 side missions. This assassin organization was just giving him rice. If he eliminated them, wouldn't it be the same as running out of food? The system said, the host is thinking too much. Nonsense. Jun Changshao said, if I don't think too much, how am I going to survive in the cruel falling star continent? The Ironbone disciples wholeheartedly immersed themselves in cultivation. Jun Changshao didn't stay idle either. He would either walk around the cultivation room or comprehend the body metamorphose scripture in the inner court. During this period of time, the Azure Sun County was in an uproar. This was because the AI clan of Huyang City announced to the public that they had newly developed a healing pill that could quickly recover from injuries. How fast? The slogan was as follows: as long as you still have a breath of life, as long as you are reluctant to part with the mortal world, consuming a healing pill would allow you to quickly recover in a few breaths. Your waste kidney, you and him. Wasn't it too exaggerated? This was the first reaction of the martial artists in the Azure Sun County when they heard the news. However, when they thought about how the AI clan had been in the business of alchemy for generations, they probably wouldn't spread rumors and ruin their hard-earned reputation. 3 days later, the AI clan will hold a healing pill auction in Huyang City. It is said that only 9 pills will be auctioned. Many clans and sects are rushing over. Let's go. Let's go and take a look. In a short period of time, cultivators from the Azure Sun County swarmed into Huyang City from all directions. The number of people was even greater than the number of spectators at the tournament. From this, one could see how alluring the healing pill was. Of course, many clans and sects were doubtful. The AI clan also understood that they had to prove the healing effects of the healing pill. Thus, when the auction started, they pulled out the young master of the Sun City Song clan, who had been bedridden for many years. It's the second young master of the Song clan, the second genius of the Azure Sun County, who was only second to Xiao Ziji, was attacked by a low-rank 5 vicious beast while cultivating in the wilderness. In the end, his entire body was paralyzed. This is truly heartbreaking. Could it be that the AI clan invited him here to prove the healing effects of the healing pill? The second young master of the Song clan has been bedridden for so long. Can a single healing pill really cure him? Everyone discussed fervently. Everyone. AI Shang walked out and said, in order to prove the healing effects of the AI clan's newly developed healing pill, we have reached an agreement with the Song clan's clan head yesterday. We will buy one for 30,000 silver taels. Everyone can bear witness to whether it can cure the second young master of the Song clan. As he spoke, he passed the pill to the Song clan head. Everyone turned to look at him. The Song clan head's hands trembled as he held onto the pill. Yesterday, the AI clan had repeatedly assured him that the pill was effective. It was inevitable that he would be agitated. Father. The second young master of the Song clan was half lying on the chair. With a pale face he said, "Let the child consume it. Even if it's poison, it doesn't matter." As a genius second only to Xiao Ziji, due to being bedridden and unable to move, he had already lost all hope. If he could move, he would have ended his life long ago. The Song clan had walked over and personally fed the pill to his son. Tears streamed down his face as he prayed for a miracle to happen. A miracle came after consuming the pill. The hands of the second young master of the Song clan trembled slightly. Then, under everyone's gaze, he straightened his back and finally stood up with great effort. Chapter 99. I'm standing up, Father. I'm standing up, I'm standing up. The second young master of the Song clan was ecstatic. Tears gathered in his eyes and his legs started to tremble. He gradually adapted to the long-awaited support. 3 years. More than 1,000 days. He had spent it all in bed. For a martial artist, a genius with extraordinary aptitude, this was definitely a torture worse than death. Today, the second young master of the Song clan stood up. He once again felt the weight of the earth, and felt that his body belonged to him. What made him even more excited was that after his meridians were reconnected, his cultivation was still at the 7th stage of the meridian opening realm. Whoosh! Whoosh! He clenched his fists and 7 circles of light surrounded him. Excitement, excitement, all kinds of emotions filled his heart. The second young master of the Song clan could no longer control himself. Tears flowed down his cheeks. A man does not cry easily. It was only because he was not too excited. Seeing his son stand up, his pale face regained some color, and the gathering of spiritual energy. The old master of the Song clan's hands trembled, and his eyes were filled with tears. The martial artists in the auction hall widened their eyes in disbelief. The young master of the Song clan, who had been paralyzed in bed for 3 years, ate a healing pill and not only stood up, his cultivation was still intact. If they did not see it with their own eyes, they would not believe it. Ai Shang sighed in relief. At first, he was worried that the healing pill could not cure people who had been ill for a long time. Now that the young master of the Song clan had proven it, the following auction would definitely be not bad. Very popular, super popular. All the major clans and sects witnessed the heaven-defying pill. Their eyes flashed with enthusiasm. Everyone. Ai Shang walked to the auction stage and said loudly, "The healing pill developed by the AI clan is suitable for martial disciples and meridian opening realm cultivators. As for the effect, I believe all of you have seen it. Let's begin the auction." Only suitable for martial disciples and meridian opening realm cultivators? Many martial artists' eyes were filled with regret. But thinking about it, if there was no restriction, no matter how serious the injury, it would be too terrifying. They had to buy it. The wealthy clans and sects made up their minds. Looking forward, Ai Shang said loudly, "The starting price of the first healing pill is 10,000 taels. 20,000 taels. 30,000 taels. 35,000 taels. 40,000 taels." As soon as the auction began, all the major clans and sects began to bid fiercely. As for those martial artists who did not have enough money, they could only shut up. After a round of fierce bidding, the first healing pill was won by the 6th-stream True Essence sect for a price of 100,000 taels. This was a sky-high price. The reason why the Zhen Yuan sect was so desperate was not because they had too much money, but because one of their direct disciples had been seriously injured like the Song family's young master for many years. These days, all the clans and sects had a few patients. Can you guarantee that you won't get hurt for the rest of your life? When the True Origin sect won the healing pill at the price of 100,000 taels, many martial artists realized that this kind of pill that could quickly heal injuries was destined to become a luxury item that they could only sigh at. Yes, luxury goods. Because for the next 7 healing pills that were auctioned off, the families and sects that had deep financial resources and profound backgrounds fought to the death, and the final price was all 100,000 yuan. The last one was sold for 120,000 taels. A single healing pill was actually worth 12 spirit stones. This was absolutely shocking. However, After the auction ended, things didn't end there. News of the AI clan's recovery pellet swiftly healing the Song clan's second son swept through the Azure Sun County like a storm. Really? The Song clan's young master had been paralyzed for 3 years. They searched for countless famous doctors, but still couldn't cure him. Is this a rumor? I went to Sun City the day before yesterday, and saw the Song clan's young master playing on the streets, as if he was flying. He didn't look like a patient who had been paralyzed for 3 years. If the Song clan's second young master's recovery was still doubtful, then not long after, the severely injured direct disciple of the sixth-stream True Essence Sect came down the mountain and completely convinced them. For a time, the news of the recovery pellet caused a huge commotion and even spread to the outer counties. All the families with patients rushed to Huyang City. However, when they arrived at the AI clan, the reply they received from the AI clan's patriarch was, "This kind of miraculous healing pill is really difficult to refine. Please wait for news of the auction and come back to purchase it in the future." Many families left helplessly. The clans and sects with genius patients chose to stay in Huyang City and wait for the day when the AI clan's recovery pellet would be sold again. Then did anyone have any evil thoughts? Yes, but they forcefully dispelled them. After all, the AI clan was an old and famous pellet family. They didn't have much power on the surface, but they had a lot of connections. Offending the AI clan was equivalent to offending the Jianghu. See you in the Jianghu. That's right. If you offend me, I'll write you to death. Clan leader. One day Su Xiaoma said, "The AI clan's patriarch is here to visit Huyang City." Jun Changshao, who was cultivating, opened his eyes and smiled. "Invite the AI clan's patriarch into the main hall." Yes. Su Xiaoma left. Jun Changshao touched his nose out of habit and said, "Looks like the AI clan's patriarch has already sold the recovery pellet." AI Shang's visit was expected, but he didn't expect him to come in just a few days. In the main hall of the sect, Jun Changshao walked out and cupped his hands. "The AI clan's patriarch has come to visit. Your presence brings light to my Iron Bone sect." As the leader of a sect, there was no lack of pleasantries, let alone a business partner. AI Shang hurriedly got up and cupped his hands in greeting. "I haven't seen you for a few days, but clan leader Jun's cultivation has improved a lot." After some pleasantries, he went straight to the point. "Clan leader Jun, the 9 recovery pellets have been sold." "How much?" 850,000 taels. Clan leader Jun's face looked calm, but he was roaring in his heart. "My mother must have been kicked in the head by a donkey. I only asked for 10,000 taels." Clan leader Jun, AI Shang placed a stack of banknotes on the table and smiled. "This is 200,000 taels. Consider it a bonus. Please accept it." He's worthy of being called a businessman. He's very particular. Jun Changshao waved his hand and put the banknotes into his space ring. He smiled and said, "I didn't find the wrong long-term partner." "Long-term partner?" AI Shang was overjoyed. "Clan leader Jun, could it be that you still have recovery pellets?" Jun Changshao rested his chin on his hand and smiled. "Isn't this the reason why the AI clan's patriarch came to visit?" AI Shang was quite embarrassed when his thoughts were pointed out, but he still cupped his hands and said, "It's my honor and the AI clan's honor to be able to obtain clan leader Jun's trust." As a businessman, money was the most important thing. Recovery pellets could bring in huge profits, so he naturally spared no effort in flattering clan leader Jun Changshao said. "The AI clan's patriarch's words are too serious. You and I are now the most sincere partners." He put the bottle of recovery pellets on the table and said, "I still have 10 recovery pellets here. The AI clan's patriarch can take them and sell them. As for the price, give me 1 million taels." AI Shang said straightforwardly. Jun Changshao heard this and swallowed back the 500,000 taels. He despised himself intensely in his heart. "Jun Changshao, look at yourself," he said straightforwardly. "Deal." The AI clan's patriarch hurriedly took out 1 million taels of banknotes and a contract. After signing the contract, the deal was done. But before leaving, Jun Changshao reminded him, "AI clan's patriarch, I don't want to show my face in public. That's why I'm cooperating with the AI clan. I hope you can understand. I understand. Understand what? He understood that the Ironbone clan's patriarch didn't want others to know that this heaven-defying recovery pellet was made by him. After the AI clan's patriarch left, Li Qingyang came to see him and said, "Clan leader, when will Junior Marshal Brother Ye's collapsed room be rebuilt?" Jun Changshao casually threw a stack of banknotes and said, "Rebuild my ass. Just rebuild the inner courtyard according to the Imperial Palace's forbidden grounds. Also expand the outer courtyard." Li Qingyang held the thick stack of banknotes and counted them slightly. He exclaimed, 100,000 taels. Chapter 100. Li Qingyang, who was holding 100,000 taels of silver, was stunned on the spot. Coming from a family, he did not have much concept of money, but he knew that this amount was huge. Using it to rebuild the iron bone could only be said to be extravagant. Li Qingyang hurried back to his room, picked up a brush and ink, and started to draft the reconstruction plan. The inner yard needed to be rebuilt, and the outer yard needed to be expanded. This was a huge project, and he had to seriously plan it. After a night of designing, the sketch was done. The Ironbone main hall in the outer yard did not change, and it was still at the northernmost side. The rest of the buildings were all changed. The training field was enlarged, and more buildings were added. The inner yard also changed a lot. Not only did they add greenery, but they also added a lot of rooms, enough to accommodate 1,000 disciples. Of course, Li Qingyang also considered Lu Wanshi, and specially divided the vegetable field and the livestock pen. With enough funds, this reconstruction was definitely a bold and decisive one. Once it was completed, it would be a brand new Ironbone Sect. Not bad. After looking at the sketch, Jun Changshao was very satisfied. Li Qingyang pointed at a few blank areas on the sketch and said, "I've decided to build a wing here first. After it's completed, everyone can move in first, and then we can rebuild the other areas. This way, we won't have to live in the outer yard." Jun Chang smiled and said, "You've considered everything thoroughly." He gave the task of rebuilding the sect to Li Qingyang because he valued his steady and cautious personality. Simply put, he was suitable to be the head butler. Li Qingyang would definitely be the internal affairs elder if he wanted to divide the elders' positions. "Sect master, when will we start the reconstruction?" 3 days later. "Yes." Li Qingyang left. Jun Changshao touched his chin and said, "After the reconstruction of the sect is completed, we'll open the mountain gate to recruit disciples. Once we have 500 people, we'll trigger the sect mission." When the sect was upgraded to level 2, he did not recruit disciples immediately because he wanted to strengthen this batch of disciples first. AI Shang took 10 beginner healing pills and returned to the AI family. However, they were not in a hurry to auction it off. Instead, they were waiting for the news to spread so that more forces would know about it. Previously, he had sold 9 healing pills for 850,000. Now he had spent 1 million to buy 10 from Jun Changshao. No matter how he looked at it, it seemed like a loss. Otherwise, AI Shang had absolute confidence that the price of the 10 recovery pellets would exceed 1 million taels in the second auction. If a businessman couldn't raise the price of a heaven-defying pill to a higher price, then he wouldn't be worthy of the word businessman. Of course, at the same time, AI Shang was also pondering. If the news of the healing pills were to spread, it would alarm the major powers and sections. How would he explain himself? 3 days later, a large number of craftsmen entered the Ironbone factory and began to expand the inner courtyard. Because it was built in another area, it did not affect the disciples' residence and rest. They could continue to cultivate as usual. Sect leader. One day, Li Qingyang came to report. Last night, another 9 disciples opened their 10th meridian. Other than junior brother Xiao, junior brother Yi, and junior sister Lu, the other disciples have all reached the 10th stage of the meridian opening realm. Not bad. Jun Changshao said with satisfaction. Calculating the time, this batch of disciples had just been recruited for 2 months. To reach the 10th stage from the 2nd or 3rd stage was quite fast. Let them continue to work hard. Those who break through to the martial disciple realm will be given the self/manual, Jun Changshao said. Yes. Li Qingyang left. Jun Changshao stood up and went to the training room. Xiao Ziji was in the muscle building room. There were still 2 hours left. Creak. At this moment, the door of another muscle building room opened. Yi Xingchen, who had been beaten black and blue, slid out and panted heavily. Ever since his room collapsed, he had been cultivating in the training room. His strength was not inferior to Xiao Ziji's. Needless to say, he had made great progress. His originally weak body had become much stronger. As for his realm, he had broken through from the 1st stage to the 3rd stage. His explosive strength had reached 800 jin. Normally, with Yi Xingchen's physical aptitude, it would be considered good if he could exert 400 jin. The extra 400 jin was due to the I Jin Jing, the Taishan Sutra, the muscle building room, and the body shaping pill. Jun Changshao could also see that he had changed a lot during this time, so he smiled and said, "Now do you still feel wronged by joining the Iron Bone sect?" Yi Xingchen was silent. Previously, he must have been brooding over the fact that he was forced to join the Iron Bone sect despite being a reborn martial emperor. Now he was, "That's right, it was really good." Shua. Jun Changshao went into the muscle building room. After 2 hours of sculpting, Xiao Ziji was waving the testing machine again and again. The strength on it was constantly changing. 3,000 jin. 3,200 jin, bang. When the last punch was thrown, the strength was fixed at 2,500 jin. Without opening his meridians, just by tempering his body, his strength had reached the level of a 3rd stage martial disciple. It was really inconceivable. However, Xiao Ziji did not feel happy at all. Instead, he lowered his arms in dejection. Jun Changshao walked over and said, "What are you thinking about?" "Sect Master, I." Xiao Ziji paused and said bitterly, "During this period of cultivation, my body has reached its limit. It will be very difficult for it to improve." Jun Changshao said, "A martial artist's true strength lies not only in their body, but also in many other aspects, such as weapons and equipment. Come with me." He brought Xiao Ziji to the back of the mountain and took out the QBU-88 sniper rifle. He placed it on the ground and said, "Try to fire a shot." "Can I?" Xiao Ziji was stunned. Jun Changshao said, "If your body can handle it, this sniper rifle is yours." The system reminded, although this disciple can use the sniper rifle, the magically modified 8x scope function can only be triggered by the host. So fucked up? Jun Changshao frowned. In his mind, Xiao Ziji could not open his meridians and could not condense his spirit energy. He would train him to be a sniper. After all, his body was strong, so it should not be a problem for him to bear the recoil. But now, the magically modified 8x scope, self-aiming, X-ray vision, and other functions could not be triggered by this disciple. How could he achieve 100% accuracy? Phew! Xiao Ziji let out a long sigh of relief. He walked to the front of the QBU-88 sniper rifle, obviously wanting to try it out. Jun Changshao personally taught him how to hold the gun, and how to get close to the 8x scope. He also explained the range, firing speed and wind speed. He said, "Do you understand?" "Understood. That small rock a few hundred feet in front of you, break it." As he spoke, Jun Changshao had already moved far away, afraid that the recoil from the shot would implicate him. Shua! Xiao Ziji crouched down, holding the gun with one hand. The end of the gun was pressed against his shoulder. One of his eyes leaned against the lens, and after checking, he immediately pulled the trigger. Bang! The muzzle spat out fire. Like a cannonball, a stream of light shot out. It accurately hit a small rock more than 500 meters away, and blew it to pieces. So accurate? Jun Changshao opened his eyes wide. When he retracted his gaze and looked at Xiao Ziji, he found that the gun was still there, and the ground under the support was sunken. That guy had disappeared into thin air. Where is he? Where is he? Sect Master. More than 10 meters behind him, Xiao Ziji was paralyzed on a tree branch. His mouth was foaming, and he weakly said, "Disciple. Disciple is here." Chapter 101. The recoil of the Type 88 sniper rifle is really strong. Xiao Ziji fired a shot. Even with the support of his leg, he was still sent flying for more than 10 meters. However, there were two things that surprised Jun Changxiao. First, this kid was very accurate. Second, after resting for a while, he stood up as if nothing had happened. My cultivation is higher than his, but I had to rest for most of the night before I could adjust. The system explained. That's because the host fired 3 shots in a row. The recoil is very strong, but he only fired 1 shot. So that's how it is. Jun Changxiao suddenly realized. No matter what, Xiao Ziji's shooting talent and his strong body made him even more determined to train him into a sniper. I've sinned, Jun Changxiao said. This Type 88 sniper rifle is yours. When you have time, try to get a feel for it. Yes. Xiao Ziji picked up the gun, although he remembered the recoil and felt a chill down his spine. But when he saw the broken stone, his eyes were burning. Men love guns, it is their nature. Even men from another world are no exception. Following this, Xiao Ziji would take out 2 hours every day to lie on the grass, stones, and trees in the back mountain. One of his eyes would lean on the lens, aiming at something in the distance. He did not fire the gun, because the head said that there were only 6 bullets left in the gun. In order to better adapt to the recoil, Xiao Ziji would also stand on the martial arts field and let his senior brothers hit him with thick logs. Junior brother, are you ready? Ta! Xiao Ziji stepped forward, his upper body exposed. He patted his right shoulder where the gun was and said, "Senior brothers, come. Go." Su Xiaoma ordered. 10 disciples holding the logs fiercely hit him, but with a bang sound, he was sent flying. The muscle sculpting machine is based on science to refine the body and maximize the muscle enhancement. This method is quite extreme. Shua. Xiao Ziji climbed up and returned to his previous position. He once again got into a horse stance and endured the pain. Again. Boom. Again. Boom. Again. Again. On the steps of the main hall, as he watched Xiao Ziji fall and stand up again and again, Li Qingyang said, "Sect Master, junior brother Xiao wants to become stronger too much." Jun Changxiao leaned his arms against the stone railing and said, "Qingyang, although your junior brother has become the champion of the Sect's martial arts competition and proved himself with his strength, he still has to surpass his former fiancée." Li Qingyang said in a deep voice, "Sect leader, as far as I know, junior martial brother Zhao's fiancée is called Morong Exine. She is a direct descendant of the Morong clan, one of the 4 great clans of Tianhai County." Tianhai County. Jun Changxiao had a vague impression of it. It seemed to be a county with a large population. He asked, "Is the Morong family very strong?" Li Qingyang was silent for a while, then said, "If we were to calculate according to the ranking of the sects, the Morong family of Tianhai County is at least not weaker than the Tsang Mountain sect." Jun Changxiao said in surprise, "So strong?" Li Qingyang said, "Morong Exine has the best spiritual root. She was accepted as a direct disciple by the 11th elder of the second-rate sect, the Lily Holy Sect." Jun Changxiao didn't care about the best spiritual root. What he cared about was the Lily Holy Sect. This name was really meaningful. He joked, "Is there a gay sect?" "Gay sect?" Li Qingyang scratched his head and said, "I have never heard of it." Jun Changxiao went back to the topic and said, "A family comparable to a 5th-rate sect, and a disciple of a 2nd-rate sect. This Morong Exine is really not simple. However," he touched his chin and said, "since she is so outstanding, why is she engaged to Zueji? They were engaged before they were born." Li Qingyang said. Jun Changxiao said, "No wonder." Looking at Xiao Ziji who was training, he murmured, "It will be very difficult for my disciple to surpass the woman who abandoned him. Only difficult is challenging. Only then can he prove his ability to train his disciple. Morong Exine of the Morong family, just you wait. One day, I will make you understand how stupid it was to break the engagement. The craftsmen in the inner courtyard were building in full swing. The disciples were also cultivating. 7 days passed peacefully. Ironbone welcomed a historic moment. Except for Xiao Ziji, Lu Wanshi, and Yi Xingqian, all the other disciples broke through to the 12th stage. Tianqi, Li Fei Zhang Wei, and the others became martial disciples. The number of disciples increased from 5 to 10. Under normal circumstances, a 9th-rate sect having 3 to 5 martial disciples was not bad. Ironbone had 10, which was undoubtedly very powerful. Strange. Jun Changxiao opened the data panel and saw that the sect was still a 9th-rate sect. He was puzzled and said, "The sect has 9 martial disciples, and the rest are all at the 12th stage. Why haven't they upgraded?" The system said, "The promotion of the sect is not decided by the system. It needs to be certified by the relevant department of the Falling Star continent." "Which department?" "You can ask the disciples." Jun Changxiao called Li Qingyang over. Li Qingyang said, "Sect leader, as far as I know, if you want the sect to enter the 8th rate, you need to go to the Sect Certification Hall to be certified." "Sect Certification Hall? Where is it?" "Qingyang City." "What kind of certification is it?" Li Qingyang thought for a while and said uncertainly, "It seems to be bringing disciples who meet the requirements to be certified. So troublesome. I'm too lazy to go." Jun Changxiao dismissed the idea of going for certification. In his opinion, as long as the sect was strong, it didn't matter if it was considered a 9th-rate sect. In the weeds at the back of the mountain, Xiao Ziji was covered in weeds. Only his eyes were exposed. He was lying motionless. Shwa. After a long time, a relatively large wild boar walked out about 600 meters ahead. Xiao Ziji lowered his head slightly. One of his eyes was on the lens. He locked onto the wild boar's head and pulled the trigger. Bang! The gunshot rang out. Xiao Ziji held the gun and was knocked back 2 meters. As for the wild boar, its head was accurately shot, and its body fell to the ground. Su Xiaomo ran over and lifted it up. "Junior brother Xiao, your marksmanship is really accurate." "Who?" Xiao Ziji stood up. He held the gun in one hand and rubbed his numb right shoulder with the other. A bright smile appeared on his face. After 7 days of training in the molding room and extreme body tempering, he was no longer hanging from a tree branch because of the recoil like the first time he fired the gun. "Not bad, not bad." Jun Changxiao clapped his hands and walked out. Xiao Ziji lay motionless on the ground for 4 hours. When the prey appeared, he quickly shot it in the head. He was definitely a natural sniper. This was the advantage of being a genius. Even if he was not good in martial arts, he could still perform well in other things. "I have sinned," Jun Changxiao said. "When the sentry tower is built, the heavy responsibility of protecting the sect will be handed over to you." This guy gave the Type 88 sniper rifle to Xiao Ziji and let him become a sniper. He hoped that he could protect the sect and not let others get close. Although there was a sect protection array, it was still 1 contribution point per day. It was impossible to burn it over a long period of time. If a sniper was placed at the sentry tower, he could instantly kill any suspicious person or assassin. That would be very comfortable. "Yes," Xiao Ziji said. "But," he said weakly, "Sect leader, there are only 5 bullets left." Jun Changxiao held his chin and said, "Yes, there are a little less bullets. We have to go to Qingyang City to buy some cores." "Qingyang. Inform the disciples who broke through to martial disciple to follow me to Qingyang City's Sect Certification Center tomorrow." Since he was going to Qingyang City, he had to get certified on the way. Chapter 102. The next day, Jun Changxiao brought Lu Qianqian, Li Qingyang and the others to Green Sun City. Xiao Ziji also followed along. The Type 88 sniper rifle on his back was wrapped in black cloth, giving off a mysterious feeling. Snipers have to pay attention to their surroundings at all times. You can't relax at all. Jun Changxiao said. Xiao Ziji was on high alert all the way. Even if there was a wild rabbit running through the grass, he would be able to catch it immediately. He had already accepted the position of a sniper, but he lacked bullets for shooting practice. Talent was important, but to be able to not miss a single shot, he still needed bullets to feel. A few hours later, the group arrived at Green Sun City. As soon as they entered, they attracted the attention of the people in the city. The contempt and ridicule in their eyes were naturally replaced by respect and reverence. During this period of time, Ironbone's performance had already been recognized. Just as Jun Changshao said, ordinary people like to follow the trend. When you were weak, they would want to kick you. When you were strong, they would want to kneel down and lick your boots. Where is the Sect certification? In the south of the city. Walking along the wide street to the south of the city, Jun Changshao brought his disciples to a building with the words Sect Certification Hall. Why is Ironbone here? Are they going to get their Sect certified? Although Sect leader Jun defeated Longblade Sect's Sect leader in the grievance arena, his personal strength is not enough. His disciples have to be strong to pass the certification. The Sect Certification Hall has a cooperative relationship with the 100 Races Alliance. Ironbone has left the alliance, so it will be difficult for them to get certified. Hearing the discussions of the passers-by, Jun Changshao frowned and thought. The certification hall has a cooperative relationship with the 100 Races Alliance. They will definitely make things difficult for them. As expected, after entering the certification hall and reporting their sect's name, the deacon said indifferently, according to the sect certification rules, you must show the 100 Races Alliance's certificate to be certified. Pa Su Xiaoma slammed the table and said angrily, we're already here. Why don't you just verify it? Why do you still need a certificate? The deacon said indifferently, this is the Sect Certification Hall, the fair and just authority of the Starfall continent. Sect Master Jun, please tell your disciples to be more respectful. Fair and just. If Jun Changshao didn't care about his status as the sect leader, he would have already taken out the records of the Grand Historian and smashed him in the face. Can it be verified without a certificate? He asked calmly. The deacon said indifferently, if there is a proof of recommendation from a fifth-rate sect or above, it can also be verified. Of course, a low-level sect like Ironbone that hasn't even joined the 100 Races Alliance wouldn't be recommended by a major sect. So it's best that you return to where you came from. Fuck. Li Fei couldn't help but slap the table and say, if you fucking say inferior again, do you believe that I won't kick you to death? Most of the disciples who joined the Ironbone sect came from poor backgrounds, except for a few who had some status. They were so angry that they were humiliated, especially by their own sect, that they would definitely swear. The deacon cupped his hands and sneered. What? Ironbone sect wants to cause trouble in the certification hall? Jun Changshao signaled the angry disciples to calm down and said, I would like to ask, what are the requirements to be verified as an 8th-rate sect? The deacon glanced at the Ironbone sect disciples, who thought they were a bunch of country bumpkins, and said indifferently, 5 martial disciples and 5 channel opening stage 12 disciples. Jun Changshao understood and said, goodbye. Watching the Ironbone sect disciples leave, the deacon said in disdain, he left the 100 Sects Alliance and still wants to be verified. Is this guy stupid? Sect Master. That guy is purposely making things difficult for Ironbone. Su Xiaoma gritted his teeth and said as they walked out of the certification hall, if he doesn't want to verify, then so be it. He even fucking humiliated us. Tianqi was so angry that his body was trembling. Li Qingyang said calmly, the certification hall is related to the 100 Sects Alliance. If we want to raise the level of our sect, we can only do it in another province. It doesn't matter. Jun Changshao said. They came to Green Sun City to buy bullets, so the certification was just on the way. Since the other party was purposely making things difficult, they could just not verify it. After all, it was enough for the sect to qualify as an 8th-rate sect. Sect Master Jun. At this moment, a deep and vigorous voice came from afar. Jun Changshao turned around and looked. He said in shock, Elder Ma? That's right. The person who came was Tsongshan Sect's Elder Ma. From the aura he emitted, it was obvious that he had broken through to Wuzong. He had been stuck at the peak of martial master for a long time. 2 months ago, Jun Changshao gave him some guidance, allowing him to finally break through. Elder Ma stopped in front of Jun Changshao and cupped his hands in gratitude. Thanks to Sect Master Jun's guidance, this old man was able to enter Wuzong. Wuzong, Li Qingyang, and the others' eyes were filled with envy and respect. In Qingyang County, those who had reached the level of martial master were the top experts. Wuzong was undoubtedly an existence that they looked up to. Jun Changshao said modestly. Elder Ma is confused by the situation. As long as you solve the puzzle, even without Jun, you can easily enter a higher level. Elder Ma's eyes were filled with admiration. When the 100 Sect recruited him, he felt that this kid was full of nonsense. Now it seemed that he was a humble little guy. What's wrong? Looking at the Sect certification hall, Elder Ma said, Sect Master Jun wants to certify the Sect's level. That's right, Jun Changshao said. Elder Ma glanced at the disciples of Iron Bone behind him. Seeing the aura they exuded, he cupped his hands and smiled. Congratulations on your Sect's promotion to the 8th rate. Jun Changshao shook his head and said helplessly, if they don't certify, what's there to celebrate? Not certifying. Elder Ma was surprised. What do you mean? The Sect certification hall was the authority of the Falling Star continent. Any sect could be certified. It was his first time hearing that they didn't certify. Jun Changshao told him everything. After Elder Ma heard, he said in a deep voice, the 100 Sect Alliance is just a private organization. To think that they can get the Sect certification hall to certify. This is the biggest joke in the world. Sect Master Jun, let's go. He made an inviting gesture and said, this old man will bring your sect to be certified. Jun Changshao brought his disciples into the hall again. The deacon stood up and said with a black face, Sect Master Jun, why are you here again? To certify the sect. Jun Changshao said. The deacon rolled his eyes and said in a bad mood, I've already said it clearly. If you want to be certified, you either need to show the 100 Sect Alliance's certification or have a 5th rate. Deacon Zhao. Before he finished, he was interrupted by Elder Ma who walked in. I represent the Blue Mountain Sect to recommend the Ironbone clan. This should be in accordance with the certification rules, right? Elder Ma. Seeing the Blue Mountain Sect elder walk in, Deacon Zhao hurriedly walked out of the counter and smiled politely. How come you have time to come to the certification hall? His face changed so quickly. Su Xiaomo, Tian Qi, and the others cast disdainful glances at this kind of obsequious person. Elder Ma said indifferently, Deacon Zhao, if I remember correctly, you've been a deacon for 10 years. Yes. Deacon Zhao smiled. Exactly 10 years. Elder Ma's eyes turned cold. Deacon Zhao is also a senior. I would like to ask if the certification hall authorized the certification hall to provide a local private organization certification? Deacon Zhao's face changed. He only represented the Azure Sun County Sect Certification Hall. Working with the 100 Sect Alliance to gain benefits was a personal action. The higher-ups definitely didn't know. Jun Changshao said. Hearing Elder Ma's words, I can't help but suspect that Deacon Zhao and the 100 Sect Alliance have some dirty deal. Chapter 103. Deacon Zhao's forehead was covered in cold sweat. He no longer had the arrogance and coldness from before. If news of him making an agreement with the 100 Sect Alliance and receiving benefits were to spread to the headquarters, losing his deacon position would be a small matter, but being held accountable would be a big matter. Deacon Zhao quickly realized that the arrival of the Grey Mountain Sect Elder had something to do with Jun Changshao, so he hurriedly smiled. Sect Leader Jun, this Zhao will now certify you an Iron Bone. No, Jun Changshao said. My Iron Bone is only a low-grade sect. We don't have the 100 Sect Alliance's certification. How can we be qualified to certify a sect? Deacon Zhao's face turned ugly, as if he had eaten a fly. Elder Ma coldly said. As the person in charge of the Sect Certification Center, shouldn't you abide by the rules of fairness? You need the 100 Sect Alliance to provide a certification. This is too absurd. The last 5 words were sonorous and forceful, shaking Deacon Zhao's heart to the point that his legs started to spin. This was an elder of the 5 flowing gray mountain sect, not to mention the headquarters. Even if it was a branch, he would definitely end up in a miserable state. Seeing this fellow's pale face, Jun Changshao thought to himself, if I don't step on you like a dog, how can I face my angry disciples? Pa! Suddenly, Deacon Zhao raised his hand and really slapped his own face, smiling flatteringly. Sect leader Jun, my head was squashed by the door just now. Please be magnanimous and don't lower yourself to my level. This works too. Li Qingyang and the rest's mouths twitched. If he was still as arrogant as before, perhaps they would respect him a little. But now that he had turned into a dog wagging its tail, it was disgusting to look at him. Deacon Zhao, you're too gentle, Jun Changshao lightly said. Pa! Deacon Zhao slapped his own face again, this time with a lot of strength. A bright red palm print appeared on the right side of his face. He endured the burning pain and forced himself to smile. Sect Master Jun, are you satisfied now? Not satisfied, Jun Changshao replied. Pa! Deacon Zhao was also a ruthless person. He slapped both sides of his face. And because he used too much strength, his nose started to bleed. Sect leader Jun, his face was slightly sinister as he smiled and said, Are you satisfied? Since the other party was fighting with such sincerity, Jun Changshao didn't want to go against him. So he said indifferently, let's go through the procedure and get certified. Please. Deacon Zhao endured the pain, bringing him and the rest of the Ironbone disciples to the back of the sect in the middle of the courtyard in the middle of the sect alliance. Sect Master Jun, these are the cultivation testing stones. Please verify them one by one. If you meet the requirements, your sect can be upgraded. What requirements? 5 disciples have reached a strength value of more than 2,300 jin. Oh, Jun Changshao understood. This so-called cultivation testing stone was actually the same as the strength testing machine sold in the store. Li Fei, go and take the test. Sect Li Fei was the first to walk over. He scratched his head and asked, Sect leader, should we use our fists or our feet? Deacon. Understood. Li Fei raised his foot and suddenly kicked over. This action was similar to playing a happy football. Boom! He kicked the testing stone. Elder Ma, who had followed along, inwardly commented, his chassis is solid and he didn't use any spiritual power. He should have trained hard. The strength of this kick must have reached the required level. Caw. Suddenly, he stopped thinking, and a look of surprise appeared in his eyes. This was because a number was gradually appearing on the testing stone. The content was 3,000 genes. Deacon Zhao was also dumbfounded. As the person in charge of the sect certification hall in Qingyang City, he had seen many disciples test their strength, but this was the first time he had seen someone who could kick a force of 3,000 jin with just his physical body. AI. Li Fei shook his head. I'm not used to it. Little Mo, yes. Su Xiaomo walked up and gave a kick as well, exerting a force of 3,500 kilograms. Then he shrugged and said helplessly, as expected, I'm not used to it. The corners of Elder Ma and Deacon Zhao's mouths twitched. The 2 disciples each gave a kick. The purest physical strength was comparable to a second-grade martial disciple. This was simply inconceivable. Next up was Lu Qianqian. She gently hit the testing stone with her jade-like palm, displaying a force of 2,000 genes. It was obvious that she didn't use her full strength. Li Qingyang walked up and poured spiritual power into his fist. He suddenly punched the testing stone, and the strength displayed was 5,000 genes. Boom! Tianqi also punched the testing stone. He didn't use any spiritual power, and the force of his punch was 3,200 genes. Elder Ma and Deacon Zhao's eyes opened wider and wider. These Ironbone disciples were only first-grade martial disciples, but each of them could exert a force of more than 3,000 genes. This was simply terrifying. Deacon Zhao, Jun Changshao said, our 5 disciples all meet the requirements. Can we be certified as an 8th-rate sect? Deacon Zhao came back to his senses and hurriedly said politely, "According to the certification rules, your sect still needs 5 disciples who have reached the 12th stage of the channel opening realm." Oh, Jun Changshao waved his hand. Zhang Wei and the other 3 disciples, who had broken through to the martial disciple realm, were tested in order. The result was that without exception, all of them had a strength of more than 3,000 genes. Other than Lu Qianqian and Li Qingyang, the other Iron Bone disciples were all middle-grade spiritual roots. Naturally, it was also because of their training and the body-shaping pill that they were able to produce a strength value that was close to the standard. Elder Ma and Deacon Zhao felt a little dizzy. A few disciples who could produce a strength value of a second-grade martial disciple could be explained by innate divine power. So many disciples produced a strength value of 3,000 genes. Could it be that they all had innate divine power? It wasn't innate but acquired. Sect leader Jun, Elder Ma looked at Xiao Ziji and said, "Is your disciple not going to be tested?" Jun Changshao said, "Zueji, go up and punch for Elder Ma to see." Yes. Xiao Ziji handed the sniper rifle wrapped in cloth to Su Xiaomu. He stepped in front of the testing stone, took a deep breath and punched it. His strength value was 4,600 genes. Elder Ma's eyes widened and his mouth gaped open. His eyes were filled with shock. This kid's body didn't emit any spiritual energy. He was able to produce a strength value of 5,000 genes, with pure physical strength. This was absolutely terrifying. "Zueji?" Deacon Zhao thought of something and said in surprise, "Could it be that he's Xiao Ziji, the Xiao family's direct descendant who won the martial arts competition?" Jun Changshao said indifferently, "Please remove the Xiao family's direct descendant and change it to Iron Bone disciples." "Thank you." Understood, understood. Deacon Zhao hurriedly said. Elder Ma exclaimed, "So he's the champion of the martial arts competition that just ended. No wonder he's so strong." He had also heard about the Iron Bone disciples monopolizing the top 4 spots in the martial arts competition in Song Mountain Sect. He had even discussed it with the sect leader and the higher-ups. Sect leader Jun, Elder Ma cupped his hands and said, "These people have all become dragons among men under your guidance." This was the truth and not flattery. After all, a group of disciples with average aptitudes could be trained to such a level by the Iron Bone sect leader. Even Song Mountain Sect would find it difficult to do so. Not only Song Mountain Sect, but even if it was a higher-level sect, it would be impossible to train a group of people with average aptitudes to become first-grade martial disciples and have a higher level of combat strength. Of course, the higher-level sects wouldn't accept them because it was a complete waste of time and resources. Jun Changshao thought differently. He wanted to train these disciples who were regarded as trash in the eyes of the higher-level sects, because it was very challenging. Chapter 104. The requirement to become an 8th-rate sect was to have 5 martial disciples and 5 12th-stage channel opening cultivators. The disciples brought by Jun Changshao, including Xiao Ziji, who had no cultivation, all displayed strength that far exceeded the minimum requirement. Therefore, passing the certification was a smooth affair. Sect Master Jun on the counter. Attendant Zhao handed over a token with the word 8 engraved on it and said with a smile, "Congratulations to your sect for becoming an 8th-rate sect." Even if there were no elders of Song Mountain Sect present, he would still act respectfully. After all, the strength displayed by the group of disciples was too valiant. Iron Bone's future was limitless. Ding! Congratulations to the host for upgrading the sect to an 8th-rate sect. The reward is 100 achievement points and 200 contribution points. Ding! Sect achievement points, 100500. Ding! Sect contribution points, 355500. Damn! When the sect was upgraded, it even gave achievement points and contribution points. Jun Changshao was pleasantly surprised. Actually, when he first heard that a sect needed to be certified, he had rejected it. Now that he received achievement points and contribution points, he felt great and wonderful. The system said, the higher the sect's grade, the higher the reward. Jun Changxiao's eyes burned with passion and said, Attendant Zhao, what are the requirements for upgrading from an 8th-rate sect to a 7th-rate sect? Attendant Zhao hurriedly said, Sect Master needs to become a martial master. The number of disciples must be at least 50 martial disciples, and 512 stage, channel opening cultivators. That many? Jun Changxiao frowned. The upper limit of a sect's disciples was only 500. It seemed that in order to upgrade to a 7th-rate sect, not only did he need to raise the cultivation of all the disciples, he also needed to upgrade the sect to a 3rd-rate sect. The 9th-rate sect, on the system panel, changed to an 8th-rate sect. Sect Master Jun received 100 achievement points and 200 contribution points. He walked out of the certification hall in a good mood. 8th-rate sect token. Heavens, Ironbone actually upgraded. Unbelievable, unbelievable. When the passers-by saw the 8th-rate sect token hanging on Jun Changxiao's waist, their eyes were filled with shock. More than 2 months ago, Ironbone sect was just an obscure trash sect in the eyes of the world. The first-generation sect leader was even beheaded because he went to a brothel and became a laughingstock. In just a few short days, under the leadership of the second-generation sect master, not only did the sect rapidly expand, it even went from the 9th rate to the 8th rate. Many people felt that this was unreal, as if they were dreaming. Sect Master Jun, the elder of the Tsang Mountain sect, cupped his hands and said, This Ma still has things to deal with. If you have time in the future, please come to my Tsang Mountain sect for a chat. It sounded like polite words, but many cultivators were envious. After all, not everyone was qualified to hear such polite words from a 5th-rate sect's elder. Jun Changxiao cupped his hands and said, When I have time, I will definitely pay a visit to Tsang Mountain sect. Goodbye. Goodbye. Elder Ma left, but on the way he thought to himself, to be able to bring a group of ordinary youths to such a stage, this child is really not simple. If we meet again in the future, this Ironbone clan will probably become even stronger. For a group of disciples to be able to produce such a terrifying strength value, Elder Ma would definitely not look down on them. After the sect certification, Jun Changxiao brought his disciples to the market and entered a crystal core shop, starting to choose crystal cores of various grades. Considering that the higher the grade of the crystal core, the greater the recoil of the bullet, he focused his attention on crystal cores of the 4th or 5th grade. After a round of selection, Jun Changxiao chose 2 crystal cores of the 7th grade and 50 crystal cores of the 5th grade, which were similar to the Earth Fire Wolf King's crystal core. The shopkeeper smiled and said, Sect Master Jun, 2 crystal cores of the 7th grade are 20,000 taels. 50 crystal cores of the 5th grade are 150,000 taels. The total is 170,000 taels. Oh my God, so expensive? The disciples who followed him and opened their eyes wide. 170,000 taels, to them, they would never dream of it. Jun Changxiao took out banknotes and slammed them on the counter, saying, I'll buy it. Seeing so much money, the Ironbone disciple felt dizzy and secretly said, Our sect master is really rich. After buying the pills, Jun Changxiao went to the medicine market again. In the end, he only found a few healing pills and brought his disciples back to the sect. On the way, he unloaded the bullets of the Type 88 sniper rifle and reloaded them into the Earth Fire Wolf King's crystal core. He used the crystal cores of the 5th grade to reload 10 bullets. Arriving at a deserted place, Jun Changxiao pointed at the hornet's nest hanging on the tree in front of him and said, Sinji, shoot it down. Yes. Xiao Ziji found a spot, propped up a stand, and then used the gun to calibrate the target. In the process, Li Qingyang and the others had already retreated more than 10 meters away. Sect Master Jun also retreated and secretly said, Replacing the 7th grade with the 5th grade, the recoil shouldn't be too big. Peng, while thinking, Xiao Ziji, after calibrating, decisively pulled the trigger. The muzzle of the gun spat out a stream of light, and then accurately shattered the hornet's nest. From the sound of the gunshot and the stream of light, It was obviously inferior to the condensed bullet of the 7th grade. Definitely, the higher the level of the crystal core, the stronger the condensed bullet. Although the power was much weaker, the recoil only shook Xiao Ziji half a meter away, and his shoulder only felt a slight numbness. Lu Qianqian said indifferently, "The power of this attack, even a 7th or 8th grade martial disciple with their spirit power fully activated might not be able to withstand it." "Is that so?" Jun Changshao smiled with satisfaction. "Not bad, not bad." Xiao Ziji stood up, rubbed his shoulders and grinned. "Sect Master, this disciple should be fine after a while to adapt." Saying this, his smile suddenly froze. "What's wrong?" Jun Changshao and the other disciples followed his gaze. They saw a group of hornets gathered at the place where the hornet's nest was broken. Their bodies flashed with red light, and there was a buzzing sound. "Not good," Li Qingyang said in shock. "It's the poisonous hornet." Poisonous hornet. A small group of ferocious beasts. Although their level was low, their group attack power was very strong. Not to mention a martial disciple. Even a martial master might not dare to provoke them. Li Qingyang had just opened his mouth when Sect Master Jun had already taken a big step forward and shouted, "Why are you still standing there foolishly? Run!" Swish, swish. The disciples hurriedly followed in a panic. Buzz buzz. The hornet swarm suddenly rushed over. Their stingers flashed, and their small eyes were filled with anger. "Aya!" Tianqi screamed. "My butt!" Ah! Li Fei was chased by dozens of hornets. He hugged his head and fled, and even released his spirit power to isolate the attack. In the end, he was still hit by the omnipresent stingers. Su Xiaomo ran the fastest. However, the hornets that flew over could shoot their stingers, and in an instant they pierced his butt, and there was a scream of "ah!" Dusk came. The group returned to the sect. Except for Lu Qianqian, the other disciples were all stung by the hornets. Especially Xiao Ziji. His lips were stung, and were swollen like 2 sausages. Jun Changshao was also stung, and it was on his eyelids. The bulging bumps almost squeezed his eyes into a line. "Sect Master," Li Qingyang covered his stung butt and collapsed. Next time, don't let junior brother Xiao hit the hornet's nest." Chapter 105. With enough crystal cores, Xiao Ziji returned to the sect and spent more time practicing his marksmanship. He even hid in the bushes at the back of the mountain all night, waiting for animals to appear at night. Shooting stationary targets was nothing. The best marksmanship was shooting moving targets. Bang! Bang! In the middle of the night, gunshots could be heard occasionally. In the study, Jun Changshao was not in the mood to sleep. He continued to refresh the shop. Now that he had 355 contribution points, he could use them to his heart's content for a while. Ding! Contribution points. 345,500. After the refresh, an item called Magically Modified Shoulder Guard appeared in the list of items that were displayed. He clicked on the details. Item: Magically Modified Shoulder Guard. Effect: after wearing it, it can form a defense around the shoulder. It can counteract the recoil of magically modified rifles and sniper rifles to a large extent. Effectiveness: bring it and use it immediately. Price: 20 contribution points. Jun Changshao murmured, "Counteract recoil? This is good stuff." Without hesitation he bought it. Ding! Host has spent 20 contribution points. Magically Modified Shoulder Guard X1. It has been transferred to the interspatial ring. Ding! Sect contribution points. 325500. Jun Changshao continued to refresh, but his luck was very bad. He did not get anything good, and was forced to spend 10 contribution points to buy an extreme skipping rope. He refreshed again. Ding! Contribution points. 295500. The item that appeared this time was not bad. There was a high-level mortal martial skill called Rupturing Fist. Although its level was low, the Iron Bone sect was in urgent need of martial skills. Therefore, Jun Changshao still spent 10 contribution points to buy it. Ding! Contribution points. 285500. Ding! detected that host has purchased a fist martial skill from the shop. It is automatically matched with the Sect's martial skill. The words rupturing fist, high-level mortal martial skill, appeared on the system's data panel. It meant that the disciple could practice it. Jun Changshao made 1,000 copies and murmured, "Level 10 and above Meridian Opening can practice it. I'll send it to the disciples tomorrow." The next day, under the influence of the divine music, the disciples finished their morning exercises happily. Then, each of them received a secret manual of the exploding fist, which made them even happier. Jun Changshao gave the magically modified shoulder pads to Xiao Ziji, and gave the extreme jump rope to Su Xiaomo. "Thank you, Sect Master," the two said. Xiao Ziji put on the shoulder pads and arrived at the back of the mountain. He held up the Type 88 sniper rifle and pulled the trigger. But he only heard a bang sound. His body only trembled a little, but he did not fall back. "So powerful?" His eyes widened. As he spoke, he stood up and retracted his kickstand. Then he raised his gun and said, "It shouldn't be a problem to stand and fight, right?" Boom! He pulled the trigger again. And the moment the bullet flew out, Xiao Zuiji was pushed back a few meters. He then staggered and stabilized his body. He grimaced and said, "It hurts." Without the support of a kickstand, the recoil of the Type 88 sniper rifle would definitely be greater. Fortunately, he had the magically modified shoulder pads. Otherwise, if he fired a shot, he would probably end up hanging from the southeast branch. On the training field, Su Xiaoma held the extreme jump rope and said, "Sect Master gave me this. Do you want me to jump rope?" Shua. As he spoke, he jumped down. Then, his arms began to spin on their own, and his legs began to shake uncontrollably as well. Shua, shua, shua. His speed increased and light flashed. "Damn!" The disciples gathered around and said in surprise, "Senior brother Su is jumping so fast." Half an hour later, the frequency of jumping rope decreased, and then it stopped. Thump! Su Xiaoma's legs trembled, and his whole body collapsed on the ground. His eyes rolled back and white foam came out of his mouth. The extreme jump rope was used to train the strength of the legs. Once the user jumped, it would force the user to jump for an hour. The disciples continued to train as usual. Jun Changshao was also immersed in his training. Occasionally, he would take a qi gathering pill to increase the speed of his spiritual energy absorption. A few days later, his realm went from level 7 to level 8. If he meets a beast like the Earth Fire Wolf King again, he won't even need to use a gun. He can tear it apart with his bare hands. Inside the training room, Jun Changshao focused his spiritual energy on his right arm and used the rupturing fist that he learned. With a bang sound, he hit the testing machine. The strength displayed was 23,000 pounds. TSK Tisk. It actually increased by 3,000 pounds. After breaking through to level 8 martial disciple, without relying on spiritual energy, his physical strength is around 20,000. After using the rupturing fist, it increased by 3,000 pounds. The system said, "This is only common rank. If there is a higher rank martial skill, the host's strength will increase even more." Jun Changshao also wants to train a higher rank martial skill, but he needs to rely on his luck to get one. Bang! Suddenly, a gunshot came from the outer courtyard. Jun Changshao hurriedly went out and saw the Type 88 sniper rifle on the newly built watchtower. There was a wisp of smoke coming out of the muzzle. "What happened?" he said in a low voice. Xiao Ziji stood on the watchtower, pointed at the direction of the gun and said, "Sect Master, a black-clothed man tried to sneak in and was shot by this disciple." Jun Changshao hurriedly went out of the sect. Sure enough, a few hundred meters away, he saw a black-clothed man lying on the grass. His chest was pierced and blood flowed out. He couldn't be more dead. This assassin was moving at high speed, but he was killed by Xiao Ziji in one shot. It can be seen that his marksmanship is very accurate. Unfortunately, I didn't trigger a side quest. Jun Changshao shook his head, took the other person's interspatial ring, and burned it with the exquisite fire. Drizzle building. You guys are really diligent. With Xiao Ziji on guard, Jun Changshao doesn't need to open the sect protection formation every night. He can save some contribution points. Sect Master. The next day, Li Qingyang came to see him. These few days, 4 more junior brothers have broken through to martial disciple. This disciple has already distributed the self-severing manual to them. How's Xingchen's cultivation? Jun Changshao asked. As the sect master, he must be concerned about the growth of every disciple. Li Qingyang said. Yesterday, I saw junior brother Yi testing in the training room. There were 7 flashes of light on his wrist. He should have broken through to channel opening stage 7. So fast. Jun Changshao was surprised. Calculating the time, Yi Xingchen joined the Iron Bone sect for less than a month, but he has already broken through from channel opening stage 1 to channel opening stage 7. His speed is much faster than the other disciples. Li Qingyang said seriously. Sect Master, junior brother Yi is not simple. Jun Changshao rubbed his nose and smiled. This person's eyes are full of vicissitudes, as if he has experienced many things. That's why I forced him to join the sect. Li Qingyang said. Junior brother Yi is a loner and doesn't fit in with the other junior brothers. This disciple is worried that when his cultivation becomes stronger, he will not be content. Jun Changshao interlocked his fingers and smiled. Don't worry. Even if that guy breaks through to Martial Emperor, I will still be able to subdue him. As the sect master, if he can't deal with a troublesome disciple, how can he be the sect master? He might as well kill himself and scatter flowers. Sect master. At this moment Su Xiaomo ran in, gasping for breath. There's someone outside. They say it's Morong Xian from the Morong family. What? Jun Changshao and Li Qingyang were shocked. A few days ago, they were still talking about her. Who would have thought that she would come today? Is it because of Xiao Ziji? They don't come with good intentions. Jun Changshao frowned. Chapter 106. Outside the sect, a 16-year-old girl in blue stood there. Her skin was as white as snow, her figure was slender, her face was oval-shaped, and her eyebrows were like willow leaves. In terms of appearance and temperament, she was not weaker than Lu Qianqian. Morong Xian, a direct descendant of the Morong family in Sky Sea City. She had a top-grade spirit root, and was the direct disciple of the 11th elder of the Lily Holy Sect. Her other identity was Xiao Ziji's ex-fiancé. This kind of beautiful and talented girl appeared in front of the Iron Bone sect, which was unexpected. Morong Xian gently raised her head. Her eyes looked at the man standing on the sentry post in the distance, and whispered, "It's really him." Some time ago, she went back to Sky Sea City to visit her relatives. She heard that her ex-fiancé participated in the martial arts competition in Azure Sun County, and won the championship. This time, when she returned to the sect, she specially came to take a look. Xiao Ziji also looked at Morong Xian, and said with a sullen face, "Why is this woman here?" The memory of 5 years ago appeared. It was in the hall of the Xiao family, in front of all the clansmen, accompanied by the elders of the Lily Holy Sect. Morong Xian said faintly, "I'm here to break off the engagement." The cold and proud words were like a sharp arrow that deeply pierced Xiao Ziji's heart, making him feel pain every time he thought of it during the 5 years of wandering. Xiao Ziji had no feelings for his ex-fiancée. After all, they were engaged before they were born, and he only saw her once when he was young. But a woman came to break off the engagement, and in public, it was undoubtedly the same as ruthlessly trampling on his dignity. He could accept that a genius became a waste. He could also accept that he was expelled from the family, but he couldn't accept that when he was in trouble, even his fiancée came to kick him into the abyss. Seeing Morong Xian again, and thinking of her proud face, Xiao Ziji really wanted to move the muzzle of the 88 sniper rifle, and pull the trigger. Creak. At this time the red door opened, and Su Xiaoma waved his hand and said, "Miss Morong, please come in." Morong Xian frowned. "Your sect master, won't you personally welcome me?" His voice was filled with arrogance. He had the right to be arrogant. After all, with his status as a direct descendant of the Morong clan, He would be welcomed by the higher-ups of the various sects in Azure Sun County. Even the Five Streams Green Mountain sect had to be courteous to the Lily Holy sect. Oh shit. This woman is quite arrogant, huh? Su Xiaoma unhappily said. Miss Morong, you're only a direct descendant of the Morong family. Why would my family's head personally welcome you? Clan head and sect head, their statuses were equal. When a direct descendant of the clan came to visit, there was nothing wrong with the sect leader not coming out to welcome him. Are you entering or not? Su Xiaoma said impatiently. If you don't enter, I'll close the door. Humph. Morong Xian snorted coldly and walked in. Her eyebrows were filled with anger. She thought to herself, a ninth-rate sect really thinks too highly of themselves. After walking in, she saw the spacious outer courtyard and the magnificent main hall. A trace of surprise flashed in her eyes as she said, this iron bone is quite imposing. It's just that, looking at the disciples cultivating in the martial arts field, she disdainfully said, mediocre talent, low cultivation. No matter how luxurious the sect is, it's just a low-level existence. From this woman's arrogant behavior, it was enough to prove that Jun Changshao's guess was right. She came with ill intentions. In the main hall, Morong Xian walked in and saw a young man in white sitting at the head of the table. She said lightly, you're the head of the Iron Bone sect? That's right. Jun Changshao put his elbows on the armrest and clasped his fingers together. He smiled and said, I've long heard that my disciple has an extremely beautiful fiancée. Seeing you today, you really live up to your reputation. Li Qingyang's mouth twitched. My dear sect head, you mentioned the word fiancé. Aren't you deliberately provoking her? As expected, Morong Xian's pretty face suddenly became cold. She said, Sect head Jun, I've already broken the engagement with Xiao Ziji. Please don't joke about it. That's right, that's right. Jun Changshao patted his forehead and pretended to remember. He said, I forgot. My disciple and Miss Morong are no longer engaged. Sigh, I'm old and my memory is not good. It was an embarrassing and clumsy performance. Miss Morong. Jun Changshao went back to the topic. He said, why have you come to the Iron Bone sect this time? Nothing. Morong Xian said lightly. I heard that sect head Jun's disciple took the top 4 places in the sect's martial arts competition. I've come to see if there's anything special. Jun Changshao said, I see. Qingyang, call your junior brother Xiao over. Let him accompany Miss Morong and take a good look at the Iron Bone sect. Li Qingyang was a bit depressed. Sect head. Xiao Ziji appeared at the door of the main hall. He said, I'm here. In the peach forest at the back of the mountain, Morong Xian stood in front of a peach tree. Her white fingers gently touched the peach blossoms on the branches. Xiao Ziji squatted on a rock. The Type 88 sniper rifle was wrapped in a black cloth and placed next to him. The gun never left his side. The woman's beauty was unparalleled. The man was handsome. It was as if they were a match made in heaven. Unfortunately, under the beautiful scene, there was a solemn atmosphere. After a long time, Morong Xian put her hands behind her back and looked at Xiao Ziji. She said, you haven't opened your meridians yet? Her tone was much calmer. It was not as arrogant as before. Xiao Ziji said lightly, Miss Morong, whether I open my meridians or not, it doesn't seem to have anything to do with you. Morong Xian was silent for a moment. She changed the topic and said, I told Grandpa that I wanted to break off the engagement. But he didn't agree. So don't blame me for going to the Xiao family to break off the engagement. And, she paused and said, I really didn't know that your spirit root and cultivation would regress. I also didn't know your situation in the Xiao family at that time. Xiao Ziji said lightly, it happened a long time ago. You don't have to explain it to me. Morong Xian picked a peach blossom and touched the petals. She said, in these 5 years, everyone thought that I, Morong Xian, went to the Xiao family to break off the engagement because my fiancé lost his aptitude and cultivation. As she said that, she threw a bottle of pills over. There are 10 unblocking meridians pills that can increase the chances of opening meridians. Just treat it as compensation for the impulsive me when I was young. Are you pitying me? Xiao Ziji said. Morong Xian didn't say anything. Xiao Ziji said self-deprecatingly. You Morong Xian are a proud daughter of heaven. I Xiao Ziji am now just a waste. Naturally I can't afford it. Please take away the unblocking meridians pills. Xiao the happy football shot over and directly hit his face. Then came Jun Changxiao's scolding. Stand up for me. Swish. Xiao Ziji got up, clenched his fists and said word by word. Morong Xian, the humiliation you gave me 5 years ago. Sooner or later, I, Xiao Ziji, will go to the Lily Holy Sect to get it back. At a deadline. Jun Changxiao's voice came. 10 years. Too long. 9. Okay, 3 years it is. Xiao Ziji. Morong Xian raised her black hair and said with a smile. 3 years later, you will come to the Lily Holy Sect to find me? Yes. Xiao Ziji's eyes were cold. 3 years later, I will bring the divorce letter to the Lily Holy Sect and tell everyone that it was I, Xiao Ziji, who divorced you, not you, Morong Xian. Morong Xian was startled. She saw an unprecedented determination in this man's eyes. Even when she first met him, he didn't have this kind of determination. 3 years, huh? Morong Xian said lightly. Okay, I will wait for you at the Lily Holy Sect. After saying that, she turned and left. The broken peach blossoms fluttered, and the petals gradually separated in midair. It seemed to represent that the once perfect couple had completely parted ways today. Miss Morong, Jun Changxiao's voice echoed in the back mountain. Forgive me for not seeing you off. Chapter 107. After Morong Xian left, Xiao Zui placed the meridian unlocking pill on a rock, as if she regretted her impulsiveness or took pity on him. He did not want it, because he did not want to accept a gift from a woman who had hurt him. Jun Changxiao walked over and put the pills into his spatial ring without any trace of politeness. He said, 3 years. Work hard on your cultivation. Sect leader. Xiao Ziji said. I have nothing to do with her anymore. Do I have to go to Lily Saint Sect in 3 years? Jun Changxiao patted his shoulder and said, Zueji, you're fighting for your dignity now. You're not going to prove that you're better than her in the future. You're just going to tell her that she must take back what she lost with her own hands. What I lost? Xiao Ziji muttered. What did he lose? Dignity. A man's dignity. Xiao Ziji clenched his fists and said with a firm gaze, Sect leader, I understand. I will train hard, not to prove that I am better than others, but to take back what I lost with my own hands. Work hard, young man, Jun Changxiao said. Returning to the main hall, he leaned back on the chair. Zueji, your agreement with Morong Xian is actually a kind of spur to you to become stronger. I hope you will not disappoint me. Helping his disciple set a 3-year agreement, although it was suspected that he was going to slap Morong Xian's face. But more importantly, it was to set a goal for him, a goal that he had to constantly strive for. For example, to become rich, he had to earn 100 million. Sigh. Jun Changxiao stretched. Training a disciple is indeed not an easy thing. As he spoke, he took out the meridian unlocking pill and muttered, It can increase the chances of opening meridians? This pill seems pretty good. The system said, hosts can decompose and refine it from Medicine Refinery Pavilion, or obtain the pill formula. There is such a function. Jun Changxiao hurriedly opened the system's data panel and opened Medicine Refinery Pavilion. Under the 4 types of pills, a line of words appeared out of thin air. The content was Meridian Unlocking Pill, Decomposable. Decompose. Ding. Host decomposed pill. 10 contribution points consumed. Ding. Sect contribution points. 265,500. As expected, as long as the system reminded him out of kindness, he would have to spend some contribution points. Ding. Decomposition successful. Ding. Congratulations to the host for obtaining the Meridian Opening Pill formula. The Meridian Unlocking Pill appeared on the panel of the Alchemy Pavilion. After clicking on it, 4 types of medicinal herbs appeared. Rubbing his nose, Jun Changshao smiled. Using 10 contribution points to decipher the formula of the Meridian Unlocking Pill. This is definitely a profit. With the addition of the Meridian Unlocking Pill to the Medicine Refinery Pavilion, it was a step closer to perfection. Of course, he needed materials to refine it. Therefore, Jun Changshao decided to make a trip to Huyang City in 2 days. Right now, the most important thing is how to open sinful self's meridians. There was ultimately a limit to the strength of the body. Xiao Ziji had to open his meridians and condense his spirit energy in order to go further. Otherwise, how could he carry a gun and fight with others all day long? It wasn't impossible. However, with the help of spiritual energy, it would be like adding wings to a tiger. Jun Changshao rubbed his chin and said, "We have to figure out why this kid can't cultivate." "That's right. We can buy an aptitude modification liquid and let him consume it. Forcefully raise his spiritual root from a low-grade to a mortal-grade spiritual root. Maybe he can open his main meridians?" As soon as he thought of it, Jun Changshao directly selected the aptitude-modifying liquid suitable for low-grade spiritual roots. Ding! The host has spent 50 contribution points and obtained the aptitude modification liquid X1. It has been transferred to the spatial ring. Ding! Sect contribution points, 215,500. In order to make the disciple stronger, in order to regain his lost dignity after 3 years, Sect leader Jun was really giving it his all. In the training room, Xiao Ziji held the aptitude modification liquid. After knowing the effects, he was stunned on the spot. After a long time, he said in disbelief, "Sect leader, after drinking it, can it really raise the aptitude of the spiritual root?" Jun Changshao said, "Stop talking nonsense and drink it quickly." Pa Xiao Ziji opened the bottle and raised his head without hesitation. He drank the malt-flavored medicine, and the meridians in his body seemed to be burning. Huff, huff, huff. He breathed heavily, and his exposed skin gradually turned red, like a piece of charcoal that had been burned red. What's going on? Jun Changshao was stunned. He had drunk a few bottles, and this had never happened. Could it be that this kid had an allergic reaction after drinking it? The system said, "This is the aptitude modification liquid condensing spiritual energy, helping him to raise the spiritual root and gather spiritual energy for breaking through the meridians." Sizzle, sizzle. At this moment, Xiao Ziji's red skin began to emit a strange mist. It smelled a little pungent. The system said, "This is poisonous gas." Poisonous gas? Jun Changshao took 2 steps back vigilantly. The system said, "If I'm not wrong, this disciple of yours should be poisoned." Poisoned? Jun Changshao said solemnly. Could it be that this is the reason why he can't cultivate? The poisonous gas in Xiao Ziji's body spread and filled the entire training room. Fortunately, it was only pungent and did not cause any harm. Jun Changshao touched his chin and said, "There's poison in his body, and he can't cultivate. The situation seems to be very clear." Bang! At this moment, a sound came from Xiao Ziji's body. A slightly weak halo gathered around his wrists. This was the sign of a meridian opening. Thump! Thump! Xiao Ziji's heart beat violently, causing his chest to rise and fall. The spreading poisonous gas also seemed to gradually evaporate under the heat of his body. As for the halo gathered around his wrists, it changed from a blurry state to a clear state and finally solidified. One meridian opened. Jun Changshao said happily. Just as he finished speaking, a second halo appeared on Xiao Ziji's wrists. Obviously, the spiritual energy in his body had already opened a second main meridian. An hour later, the poisonous gas in the training room completely dissipated. Everything returned to normal. Xiao Ziji was as tall and straight as a mountain. 4 resplendent lights gathered around his wrists. After taking the aptitude modification liquid, his spirit root had risen from low grade to common grade. The increase in aptitude had stimulated his meridians, allowing him to break through to the 4th stage of meridian opening in one go. Sect Master. Looking at the spiritual halo that hadn't appeared for 5 years, Xiao Ziji's hands trembled violently. His voice was nearly hoarse as he said, D. Disciple opened his meridians. Not bad. Jun Changshao said, You opened your meridians. Xiao Ziji closed his eyes and took a deep breath. He tried his best to control his emotions, but tears still gathered in his eyes uncontrollably. Swish! Suddenly his knees bent, but before he could kneel, Jun Changshao held him up and said, Use your future strength to spread the might of my iron bone. This is the best way to thank me. Stand up. Swish! Xiao Ziji straightened his bent knees and wiped away the tears on his cheeks. He said loudly, Disciple Xiao Ziji will definitely not disappoint Sect Master. In the future, I will strengthen the name of my iron bone and spread the might of my iron bone. Jun Changshao patted his shoulder and said, I have high hopes for you. Ding! The first 100 disciples have successfully opened their meridians. Congratulations to the host for completing the hidden mission, Reaching Heights. The reward is 50 contribution points. Ding! Sect contribution points, 265500. Jun Changshao walked out of the training room. He was speechless as he thought to himself, the first 100 disciples have successfully opened their meridians? If Xiao Ziji didn't open his meridians, would he never be able to complete it? The system said, yes. This hidden mission is really fucked up. Chapter 108. Even though Xiao Ziji's meridians were opened, what Jun Changshao didn't understand was it because of the poison that caused his realm to regress, causing him to be unable to gather spirit energy? The system said, from the poisonous gas just now, it should be caused by poison. Jun Changshao rubbed his chin. It's understandable that the poison would cause his realm to regress, but how could a supreme grade spirit root regress? If the poison in his body can suppress his spirit root, now that it has been removed, he should have recovered, not just opened 4 meridians. He rubbed his temples. Yuan Fong, what do you think about this? The system, Jun Changshao said. I'm asking you say something. The system then realized that Yuan Fong was referring to itself, so it said, Falling Star Continent is a mysterious world. Maybe there are poisons that can suppress cultivation and spirit root. The poison is removed, but why didn't his spirit root and cultivation recover? Jun Changshao asked. The system was silent for a while, then said, maybe there's more than one type of poison in his body. What the host removed was only the poison that suppressed his cultivation, but there's also the poison that suppressed his spirit root. That's possible. Jun Changshao was silent. If that's the case, who would be so vicious as to use 2 types of poison to destroy Xiao Ziji, who was supposed to be a genius? The Xiao family's elder? Jun Changshao thought of the Xiao family's head elder, who was filled with killing intent towards Xiao Ziji during the sect competition. And that group of assassins outside Liang City who sent them? He held his head saying, Damn, I feel like my IQ isn't enough. Yuan Fong, are there any products that can develop brain power? The system said, no. After Xiao Ziji successfully opened his meridians, he temporarily gave up on spear practice and spent the whole night running Yi Jing Jing, gathering spirit energy around him. Even though he only had a mortal grade spirit root, and the absorption was far from the supreme grade spirit root, he was satisfied. After all, it was much better than not being able to gather spirit energy. Spirit energy entered his body, spreading and gathering along his meridians. Xiao Ziji once again found that refreshing feeling of cultivation. Of course, he also knew that everything was given to him by the sect leader. In this life, he was willing to serve the Ironbone clan. Lily Holy Sect. In another disciple's room, Yi Xingchen finished his cultivation and said disdainfully, Back when I dominated the Falling Star Continent, we were only a 5th-rate sect. Sigh. Our Lord Knight Tharch is still immersed in the past and unable to come out. Who? He exhaled and murmured, The Taishan Sutra is truly profound. I've studied it for so long, but I've only comprehended the first layer. Fortunately, I have the assistance of the body metamorphosis scripture. Otherwise, It would be very difficult for me to break through to the 7th level of the channel opening realm in such a short period of time. He really had to thank him properly. Without Yi Jingjing's 50% meridian opening rate, with Night Emperor's current aptitude, it would have taken him a long time to achieve it. I can't just focus on cultivation. I have to combine it with actual combat. Tomorrow, I'll go to the forest with ferocious beasts to gain some experience. The next day, Night Emperor told his idea to Jun Changshao. After some consideration, the latter said, "Go with your senior martial brother Xiao. We can take care of each other. He's just trash." Although Yi Xingchen was very conflicted, he still agreed on the surface. After all, he was now an Ironbone disciple. Just like that, a powerhouse was reborn, and a genius turned into a waste. They set out to leave the sect and begin the essential wilderness training that should only be done by the protagonist. Xiao Ziji brought along his Type 88 sniper rifle. Not only did he have to practice in actual combat, but he also had to take advantage of the opportunity to hunt for cores to make up for the sect leader's previous losses. Our sect leader Jun handed over the sect's affairs to Li Qingyang and set out for Huyang City. Sect leader Lu Wanshur stood at the entrance of the dining hall and shouted, "Bring back some seasoning." Understood. When Jun Changshao arrived at Huyang City again, he found that it was much more lively than last time. Occasionally he would meet martial artists with weapons. Can't the AI clan hurry up? They have to wait a month before auctioning it. The AI clan can refine this kind of healing pill that can instantly heal injuries. They even put it up for auction. What's the big deal about waiting a period of time? I heard that several large clans and sects have sent people over. Poor people like us can only stand on the sidelines and watch the competition between them. The martial artists on the road discussed incessantly. Obviously, they were all foreigners who had gathered in the city to wait for the AI clan to auction the healing pills for the second time. Many clans and sects had gathered their strength. Once the pills were put up for auction, they would get it no matter what price they had to pay. It had to be said that the AI clan was very good at doing business. After the first auction and continuous publicity, they had successfully whetted the appetite of the martial artists in the various counties. The auction of the healing pills had nothing to do with Jun Changshao. He was also too lazy to show his face in public. Therefore, he went to the market first and bought a lot of seasoning before entering the AI clan's medicine shop. Shopkeeper Ma, who was paying the bill at the counter, saw Jun Changshao walk in. He didn't wait for the servants to greet him. He personally walked out and said with a smile, "Sect leader Jun, we are honored by your presence. Please forgive us for not going out to meet you." Before the first auction, the AI clan master had already ordered that the Ironbone sect leader was a VIP of the AI clan. If he came to the shop, they must not neglect him. Jun Changshao said, "Where is the AI clan master? I want to talk to him about a big business deal." "Another big business deal?" Shopkeeper Ma hurriedly made a gesture of invitation and said, "Sect leader Jun, please take a seat. I will inform the clan master now." As he spoke, he gave the servant a look to serve tea, and hurriedly left the shop for the AI clan. Jun Changshao didn't sit down. He went to the medicine rack and looked at the medicinal herbs in the bamboo basket. When he saw something that caught his interest, he raised his hand to touch it. "Don't touch it." Suddenly, a voice came from behind him. Jun Changshao turned around and saw a white-haired old man in the corner of the shop, holding a small pair of scissors and trimming a potted plant. "Crazy old man." The servant in the shop scolded. "This is sect leader Ironbone sect leader Jun, don't be rude." As he spoke, he hurriedly smiled apologetically and said, "Sect leader Jun. He is a temporary worker who was hired to trim the medicinal herbs a few days ago. He doesn't know the rules. Please don't lower yourself to his level." Jun Changshao curiously asked, "Why can't I touch it?" The old man didn't even raise his head. As he trimmed the medicinal herbs, he said, "That medicinal herb is called rotten leaf grass. Its leaves gather spiritual energy. If a person touches it, the spiritual energy will decay, and the medicinal effect will be greatly reduced." TSK. The servant rolled his eyes and said, I move the rotten leaf grass here and there every day. I come across it many times. Can I still use it to refine pills? You crazy old man are talking nonsense again. Sigh. The old man sighed and said, it's because of careless people like you. The medicinal herbs that can be used to 100% of their medicinal effect can only be used to 50% or 60% after being refined into pills. It's really sad. Okay. You are so professional. I don't want to talk to you. The servant seemed to have argued with the old man more than once. He didn't continue to argue with him. Instead, he smiled and said, Sect leader Jun, please look around. Jun Changshao became interested and said, Senior, you seem to know a lot about medicinal herbs. The old man stood up and said, Sect leader Jun is the leader of a sect. I can't accept the title of senior. Elders should be respected. I deserve it. Jun Chang smiled. The old man looked surprised and shook his head. The Falling Star continent has always respected martial arts and seniors. This is the first time I've heard of it. Jun Changshao wanted to continue the conversation, but Ai Shang had already rushed over. As soon as he entered the shop, he cupped his hands and said with a smile, Sect leader Jun, what brings you here? Chapter 109. In the parlor, Jun Changshao placed the prescription of the meridian opening pill on the table. He clasped his fingers together and smiled. Master AI, how many of these ingredients does your AI clan have? AI Shang glanced at it and pondered for a moment. Sect Master Jun, my AI clan doesn't have many of these 4 ingredients. We only have about 300 of each. I want all of them, Jun Changshao said straightforwardly. The meridian opening pill increased the meridian opening rate, and the body metamorphosis scripture also increased the meridian opening rate. Wouldn't the combination be heaven-defying? Therefore, he had to refine them as soon as possible. Ai Shang smiled. Sect Master Jun, please wait a moment. He gave shopkeeper Ma a look, and the latter hurried to the inner courtyard. He then took out a few spatial rings and placed them on the table. The ingredients for the meridian opening pill weren't too precious, so the pharmacy had them in stock. After Jun Changshao inspected the goods, he said, Master AI, name your price. AI Shang said, these ingredients cost a total of 110,000 taels. Sect Master Jun, give me 100,000 taels. If it were any other customer, they definitely wouldn't bargain. But whether or not the AI clan could make a fortune with the healing pill in the future depended on this god of wealth. Jun Changshao said, deal. The two followed the rules and signed. The transaction was completed. All right. Jun Changshao pointed at the old man trimming the herbs outside and asked curiously, who is this senior? Ai Shang said, a herbalist. Herbalist? Jun Changshao had never heard of it. The original owner lived in Clear Sun Village and later joined the Iron Bone Sect. He rarely went out, so he didn't know much about the continent. Ai Shang explained, a herbalist is a profession that cultivates and grows medicinal herbs. I see. Jun Changshao understood. No wonder he knows so much about medicinal herbs. Ai Shang shook his head. Sect Master Jun, this person is only a grade 3 herbalist. There are many herbalists who are stronger and more knowledgeable than him. Herbalists also had ranks, similar to martial arts, such as disciple, master, grandmaster and king. It was the same for alchemists and spirit stones. Grade 3 herbalist. It was very common on the Starfall continent. Compared to other professions, herbalists were relatively common. Their status was not considered noble, and they were even jokingly called herbalists. Of course, without them, it would be hard to meet the huge demand of the Starfall continent just by digging for medicinal herbs in the mountains. Therefore, herbalists were indispensable. Many forces would specially hire herbalists to open up herb gardens, cultivate and plant herbs, and become self-sufficient. A grade 3 alchemist is also an alchemist. Don't look down on me, Master AI. The white-haired old man retorted when he heard Ai Shang's words. Aya, You crazy old man. How dare you speak to our family head like that? Are you tired of living? The servant rolled up his sleeves and walked over in an imposing manner. Ai Shangdi waved his hand and said, "Leave." The servant glared at the old man before leaving resentfully. Jun Changshao walked out and said with a smile, "Senior, my Iron Bone group is still lacking a herbalist. Are you interested in joining?" The old man waved his hand and said, "There are plenty of herbalists who are better than this old man. Sect Master Jun, please find someone else." TSK. The servant snorted and muttered, "It's your fortune to be chosen by Sect Master Jun. You're actually rejecting him. What a crazy old man." Ai Shang smiled and said, "Sect Master Jun, my AI family has many herbalists. Most of them are grade 7 or grade 8. If your sect lacks one, I can." Jun Changshao interrupted, "Just let me have this, senior." Ai Shang's mouth twitched and said, "Sect Master Jun, Elder Wei is only a temporary worker of my AI family. Whether he goes or not, it's up to him." "Is that so?" Jun Changshao said, "Senior, I'm willing to hire you at a high price. Are you willing to go to Iron Bone and take up the position of herbalist?" Ai Shang was a little confused. Grade 3 alchemists could be found everywhere. There were at least 10 of them in the AI family. Why would Iron Bone's sect master take a fancy to this crazy old man? Elder Wei said, "Sect Master Jun, you really want to hire me as an Iron Bone herbalist?" "That's right," Jun Changshao said. Elder Wei put the scissors on the shelf and said, "I've been a herbalist for 60 years now. Only Sect Master Jun is willing to invite me." Jun Changshao said, "Horses of 1,000 li are common, but a talent scout is hard to find." "Talent scout?" Elder Wei smiled and said, "If Sect Master Jun is sincere, I'm willing to go to Iron Bone. But how much is the salary?" 10,000 taels a month, Jun Changshao said. Ai Shang was stunned. His grade 8 and grade 9 alchemists only earned 10,000 taels a month. A grade 3 alchemist earning 1,000 taels a month was already very high. Elder Wei said, "Sect Master Jun is very sincere. Once I return to my family, I'll go to Iron Bone with you." Jun Changshao said, "AI family head, it shouldn't be a problem for me to take this person with me, right?" "No problem, no problem." South of the city in a deep alley, Jun Changshao followed Elder Wei to his residence. The house was very dilapidated, and the environment was dark. As soon as he walked in, a group of 8 or 9-year-old children surrounded him and called him Grandpa. They all had innocent smiles on their faces. Jun Changshao said, "Elder Wei has many children and grandchildren. He's a lucky man." Elder Wei handed out the candies he bought one by one and said with a loving expression, "These are all orphans I've adopted." Jun Changshao was stunned. In this cruel world, it was inconceivable that someone would adopt orphans. Sect Master Jun thought too much of the world of martial arts. In reality, there would always be good people doing seemingly laughable good deeds in any place. Sect Master Jun, Elder Wei said, "Can you give them a salary in advance?" "Sure." Jun Changshao took out 1,000 taels without hesitation. After Elder Wei took it, he only gave 300 taels to the older boy. After giving him some instructions, he packed his luggage and left. On the way, Jun Changshao said, "Elder Wei, you can actually bring them to the Iron Bone." Elder Wei shook his head and said, "This world is very cruel. They have to learn to face it on their own. I can only help them for a while, not forever." "So," Jun Changshao said, "you gave them a few hundred taels because you don't want them to rely on you too much." "That's right," Elder Wei said. "This old man must have had extraordinary experiences." Ding. Side quest completed. Host receives 50 contribution points. Ding. Sect contribution points, 313,500. After Jun Changshao and Ai Shangyao completed the transaction, the side quest was triggered. The content was hire Elder Wei as an Iron Bone herb refiner. No wonder he was willing to hire him, with a monthly salary of 10,000 taels. In fact, even without the side quest, Jun Changshao would still hire Elder Wei, because his intuition told him that this was not a simple person. "Fine. Your Iron Bone herb refiner is a person with a story. We'll just sit and listen to your stories. Sect Master Jun Elderway said, since you're hiring this old man as an iron bone herb refiner, does the sect have any medicinal seeds? Go buy them. Jun Changshao said. The two of them went to the medicinal market and bought many kinds of medicinal herbs before returning to the iron bone herb refiner. As soon as they returned to the sect, Li Qingyang handed over something and said, Sect Master, 2 hours ago, someone sent a letter. Oh. Jun Changshao took the letter and opened it. On it was written 3 days later, Ironbone Sect Master is invited to the ruins of the Spirit Spring Sect for a battle. Signed by, Inner Disciple of the Sacred Spring Sect Mo Shangfei. Li Qingyang said solemnly, Sect Master, this is a letter of challenge. Jun Changshao held the letter in his hand and said with a faint smile, the Sacred Spring Sect can't sit still anymore. They only sent an inner disciple. Aren't they looking down on me, Jun Changshao? You're tuning in to the Li Mei's Wuxia Whispers YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support. And don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.